Who would like to recap for inspiration this week? All right.
I did not listen, so I cannot do it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Lily, you're up.
Damn it! I already have inspiration.
You get to they stack.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay. The last 2 sessions have kind of blended together, but I feel like we got to Waterdeep and then fucked around in Waterdeep in one session. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, great. It
First,
felt
we helped
longer
people
than
on the
that.
side of the road.
Yes. Yeah. We encountered some lepers. What the fuck is my brain?
Leopards.
Yes, leopards, and then we cured them of leprosy. So now they're just lepers.
So now they're panthers.
Correct. And then we recruited them for black supremacy, I guess. We went into the city. We had an awkward exchange with a guard because 2 of our party members are criminals. And then
I'm not a criminal.
pretty much nothing else happened. We just kind of fucked around in town. We went Faye. We got some information. We went to a bar and Panrin drugged us. And that's
and at some point, Panrin went into the Skullport and met Zanny.
Yeah, met my boy Zanny. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I forgot that happened until you said bar, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Well,
right.
I excised it from my memory in that thing I do where I purposefully forget about things my character wouldn't know about, so I can't use it as in-character information.
Valuable. Definitely makes some.
It's a good skill.
Yeah. Okay. So, at our end point last, we had Razik just bailing, and Zira and Faye were interested in dissecting the tripping raven. Osiris is also high as well as Faye, right? Yes, Faye also drank the juice. Okay. There was
a sober one here, huh? That's a first.
Panrin also.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a first still.
Yeah, and Oryx. Oryx is, Oryx. Yeah, everyone else was back. Everyone else came back to the table. It's just Razik who is left. With that, we'll get back to you guys at the bar in a moment. But what happens to Razik as he leaves? Where does he go?
Razik is just going to try and make it back to the Friendly Flounder.
Oh, that's where you guys are. No, wait, no, you're at the Golden Horn Gambling House, the Friendly Flounder. Okay, all right. So you are a ways away. I'm just opening up that map again for myself. I forgot to do that. Okay. So you would know which direction to head, but the navigation of the city is not going to come easily for you. Let's roll survival. You have a lot of luck with that, and even though that's the approximate check for this. Probably your lowest score for that ever.
Yeah.
Okay. You just begin heading southward. You were in the castle ward. No, in the trades ward. No, yeah, I had that right. Castle ward. And you're headed south. There is a lot of things to distract you on your way. You're a little bit more familiar with the concept of like storefronts and trade and shops and things like that, and that is highlighted here and in bright and vivid color in the castle ward. There's a lot of residential buildings as well that are massive and sprawling, but on the streets is where people do the small amount of business that the castle ward affords. And there are all kinds of people and creatures and things here. There are beasts that you recognize as very dangerous animals being carted in cages or with muzzles or just on leashes as pets, even though that concept might be strange to Razik, but like domesticated, which he's becoming a little bit more familiar with, having seen Zira and her domesticated raven.
Sarah?
Hmm?
He wouldn't be heading through the castle ward unless he went the wrong direction.
Back to the trades ward, right?
We are staying in the dock ward.
Yeah.
Oh.
Over.
South of the Golden Heart Gambling House, almost exactly south.
Well, hold on. Let me try to find where you guys are right now, because I'm pretty sure
Golden
it's...
Heart Gambling House is on the left-hand side of the trades ward.
Mm-hmm.
I like the
Yeah.
little divot. And then we're down the docks ward?
Yep.
Yeah? Great. Okay.
Okay.
Keep going.
I thank you. My notes for the wards are specific and not as, and I needed. I did not keep track of that. Thank you. Okay. Anyway. I mean, the trades ward is even more densely populated, so there's more people and of even more various types and cultural backgrounds. That's very apparent. There are all sorts of languages that you can hear. There's even language that you understand, and then naturally language you don't understand. If anything, you are surprised to hear, like you're not all that surprised to hear Draconic, because as you've been exposed, there are several people who do speak Draconic. What begins to catch your ear, and then also seems out of place, if anything, is the amount of Druidic that you hear. There seems to be, I wouldn't say a surprising number, but just walking around, there are snippets that you catch that that ring familiar, and then thinking about it, you recognize as Druidic. Ahead, there is, on the street, there is a fashion of a, I wouldn't say parade, but this massive march of folks who are all working on carting this incredibly large crate that is reinforced with steel and iron bracings, and on this massive, like six-wheeled cart, and being pulled by people. And as it passes, the cart shakes and begins to rock side to side, and there is the sound of static and crackling. What's the word? A crunching, crackling sound coming from inside, and then a very loud thud, and the thing almost rocks over. There is, fortunately, one of the handlers who is on one side appears to be a wizard type, a casting type, and pulls the thing upward using Thorn Whip and drags the thing into its upright position, and then the thing settles again. Is there anything? Yeah.
What is that? Just to anybody, or like, I'm not talking to anybody specifically, but just like I'm sort of, I imagine I'm looking around on the street, just sort of appealing to somebody.
Okay. Not particularly one of the handlers, just somebody.
Right, just anybody. If the handlers are going by, they might hear it. If it's somebody, if anybody's either standing close by gawking, like I'm sure Razik is, they might hear it. I can't imagine, having been this particular person, I can't imagine anyone with somewhere to go and walking by is going to take the time to stop. Be like, oh, kind sir, in that case, it's such and such.
Yeah, and that's appropriate. The handlers seem a little preoccupied with making
Mhm.
sure the thing stands upright. And someone just nearby says, maybe that's for the competition later in the week. What could that be?
What competition is that?
Well, there's a every month or so there's a very large gladiatorial combat that you can pay to go witness or get paid to fight in. It's
Yes.
very
Oh,
exciting.
I think I have heard of that. I think my friends might want to compete in that.
Someone to your other side just says, "You're thinking about competing?"
Well, I don't know much about it, but if my friend thinks it's a good idea, then I will go and make sure they don't get dead.
That's pretty cool. And this person to your other side is a darker skinned woman with dark short hair,
Mhm.
who looks kind of familiar. She also is. You can tell that she has a little bit of she's kind of standing in a weird way, favoring her left side,
Mhm.
and her right side is kind of pulled up. Her right arm is kind of pulled up next to her, a little bit frozen and tense. She looks at you and says, are you from around here?"
No, I am not.
Oh,
Are you from around here?
and she looks a little to the side, seems to think about it for a minute. I like it here. I'm not from here. And a tiny, well, I said what a tiny, but a street rat runs over your feet and to her and begins climbing up her pant leg, and she half bends down and helps it and brings it up with her hand and puts it on her shoulder. And she says, "My name's Decker.
Hello, Decker.
Do you need an escort around the town?"
Yes, I'm looking for the flounder.
Oh, well, I can take you there. Are you okay if it takes a minute?
I must imagine that it would take more than a minute if I tried to get there on my own. So, yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, it'll take a minute. Regardless, time is a construct, and every time and every moment you think about it is another moment wasted. And she begins shuffling across the street. She clearly is dragging her right leg, but seems to pace herself pretty well. Seems comfortable with her own speed.
I will follow, and as I'm following, I will say, but Decker, I am thinking about it now, but we are making progress, yes?
In what way are we making progress? Towards your destination or towards a greater goal?
Well, I wasn't getting any closer to the flounder when I was standing there talking, and now we are moving and talking, so in a larger sense, I must be getting closer to accomplishing that goal.
Oh, excellent. 2 birds, 1 stone. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And she continues to move forward. Would you make me an insight check? Ooh. There is something.
Was never seen again.
Right, that's problematic.
There's something about her that is still really familiar. If
Nice
anything,
lady.
her voice is a little. Her voice sounds familiar. Her mannerisms are ringing bells, and she's got a kind of weird look in her eye that is particularly. Something is clicking, but you can't put your finger on it. You feel like you may have met this person before, but you definitely. There's no way, because this person is relatively memorable in her appearance. And she begins taking you through the streets, and she asks you after you've crossed this road that you met on. She says, "Do you prefer main streets or do you like sideways?"
Well, maybe we should stick to the main streets.
Oh, okay. That's not as fun, but sure. And she begins walking down the main roads with you. And she says, "You said you're not from here. Is this your first time, or you visit pretty often?"
This is my first time in Waterdeep.
Oh. Well, that's exciting. You planning on staying long?
Yeah, I would like to leave as soon as possible.
What? Why?
I'm just not very comfortable here. I don't. There's too many buildings, too many people.
Oh, but dude, that's what kind of makes it all the more fun. The buildings and the people. That's like what makes it interesting.
Well, I'm happy that you find it interesting.
Well, are you in a rush to get anywhere?
No.
All right, cool. Do you mind a detour?
What would we be doing on this detour?
Oh, nothing like criminal. Nothing illegal. Just
Well,
something cool?
I'm less concerned about criminal than I am with my personal safety.
Well, I mean, I'd be a pretty shitty tour guide if I just like pushed you off a building, right?
Perhaps, but it's not clear that you're a tour guide to begin with.
Not by habit, but you look like you're like way lost, and there are plenty of pickpockets on the street, and almost as if on cue, she reaches over and a staff that she has across her back, she pulls with her left hand from its strapping and swings out and smacks it into a halfling who's walking past, who's just and she says, "There you go." and she says, it's like, "There could have, I don't." And she kind of looks you over, and you're not really wearing clothes, but you have like a pack and things. Like, I don't know what he could have gotten off of you, but yeah. Stay close.
I will say, okay, then you just lead the way, and I will slip my hand into the satchel that has the manual of what is it? Physical strength, bodily health, something. Yeah. And I'm just gonna keep my hand on the book.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. She continues to take you around, and she's pointing out as you go some of the more interesting locales. There's plenty of shops as you're passing through this district, and but she points out her favorite ones. She points out ones that she thinks might try to rob you. There's potion sellers. There's magic shops. There's your standard wares. Like anything that you could need is very easy to find.
Okay.
And then she comes to the back of not really the back of a building, but a side of a building, and she says, "I gotta do something real quick. Do you want to come with me? It's on the way, promise."
Okay.
Okay. And she goes around the side of the building, and there is a ladder that is fixed into the stone, into the brickwork. And she begins to climb, which is clearly, a bit of a process, as she only has one side of her body that seems to be functioning well.
Right.
But even despite that, she handles it rather well and gets to the top, and she just waves for you to follow.
Okay. Let's do that.
Okay. The top of this building it's only maybe one-story building, and so there's a disparity still in like in surrounding the other structures around, and then there's many buildings that you can see from here that are taller, but then more importantly, she points out to you the castle on the hill, which is still seen from the street, but is much more visible now. This grandiose structure that is easily several blocks large and incredibly tall and glistening, and she says, that is one of the coolest things in this city, but getting in is fine. It's more about like finding things to do that are interesting, that's challenging, if anything. And she moves across the rooftop, and there's this pigeon house, this structure, and she just begins feeding some of the birds and talking to them, pulling them out one by one and speaking with them directly, and seems to be responding to them as they coo back at her. And she just looks at you and says, I forgive me. Did I ask your name?
Yeah, my name's Razik.
Okay, everybody, this is Razik, and she waves in your direction to the birds.
I wave at the birds.
They all look at you, tilt their heads to the side, and then go back to doing bird things. And she says, "Do you like animals, Razik?"
Well, I like animals very much.
What kind of animals do you like? I know that's a weird question.
Well, I like all kinds of animals. They are all very majestic in their own way, and most of them get by just fine without having to build giant cities, and I like that very much.
I mean, giant's pretty relative, right? Like, there are plenty of animals that build cities, like ants, bees, rats, cats.
That is very true. That is very true.
When she says rats, as if on cue, the rat that she has that has nestled on her perks up. And
who's your friend?
This is Rochester. He's incredibly stupid. Don't worry about him. He's incredibly stupid. And she says, I do respect the idea that you like all animals. Most folks don't like most animals, especially these kinds of animals. And she lightly gestures to the rat on her shoulder and the birds in their cage. Most people think of them as pests.
Well, most people aren't very bright when it comes to animals.
Oh my god, you're so smart.
I know.
No, you're right. Like, I was like raised on, when you're raised by witches, the whole thing is like every life form is very important and sacred, and then most big city folk don't really care about most kinds of animals, because if it's living in the big city, it's like living off of human scraps, and they don't like that very much. But yeah, no, it's nice to hear someone's like-minded. Are you where do you come from?
I come from far to the east and the south.
All right. Do you location name, or just that way?
It was a swamp.
Naturally. Cool as hell.
Yes, it was nice until there was too much water, and then there was too much water for it to be a swamp for a while, and I had to leave. So I left, and I started wandering, and I found some friends, and we continued east and we did some stuff, and then we decided to come to Waterdeep, and so here I am.
Where are your friends then?
They had some experiments to do that seemed distasteful to me, so I decided I would return home, and that is looking like perhaps a bad decision on my part.
Well, I'm not gonna kill you or nothing. I'll take you to the friendly flounder. Don't worry. You said you like animals. You seem to have your head on straight. Have you met with the Emerald Enclave yet?
Who is the Emerald Enclave?
It's just a really cool group of druids who kind of have their head on straight.
Oh, druids?
Yeah, druids.
Yes, I would very much like to meet with the Emerald Enclave.
Oh yeah, I could take you if you want.
Yes, where are these Enclave of Emeralds?
Oh well, I mean they're not made of. That'd be way cooler if they were made of. She gets lost in thought for a second, and she says, "They're not made of emeralds."
Well, that would be cool too, but I'm more interested in their druidic background than I am in their material composition.
Okay, great. That makes that so much easier. Do you want to go there now, or do you want to go back to the friendly flounder?
Yeah, let's go see the Emerald Enclave.
All right, cool. And then after she's finished with her pets, she then starts climbing down the ladder to take you off a little ways. Let's go back. We'll cut to everybody else for a minute. So, what is happening after Rezik leaves, which was shortly after the shatter, the drug that Panarin slipped half of you. What's happening after that occurs?
I believe we decided that we were going to start walking back towards Faye's lab so that we could dissect the bird in a space where if it exploded, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Also,
Correct.
not in the public view, because I feel like if they dissected a bird, on a table, at a bar, that would be a faux pas, I think.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, once.
Why are we dissecting the bird?
Because it's split into two, remember?
I have to run tests.
Right.
Sorry, wrong voice as well. You slipped into your Irish there a little.
Do Oryx and Panarin join them, or no?
Hello?
One moment.
Okay.
Oryx is not at all
No,
interested.
you know what? Yeah, no, he started this. He's gonna finish it. He'll follow.
Okay. Oryx?
Oryx is not really interested in this experiment, but also, I guess at this point, doesn't really want to be left behind. And I think everyone else is going because Bruceris is probably headed off to do his noble schmoozing.
Technically, yeah.
So yeah, I guess I'll follow. Just like this seems unnecessary.
Zira, that information we talked about a couple days ago, is that something that you think you would know now, or you're about to learn?
I think... Yeah, I feel like these powers are pretty fresh. So I think it might have happened, but I don't think I would have seen it up close. So, yes.
Okay. All right. So
New to me.
okay, cool. If that's the case, then the four of you make it back to the guild hall, to Faye's private space, or private work zone. You lay the bird down and are going to try to kill it, I'd assume, yeah?
Yeah. Also, what happens if I kill the, like, weak one? I'll, like, lay that one down and, like, coup de grace with my hand crossbow.
Okay. The weaker one you kill, and they both disappear.
Huh. That's new.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah, exact word I had in my mind. So now what?
Huh. That was actually kind of disappointing. I was kind of wanting to learn a little bit more about this.
Can you
Sorry,
bring it back?
Faye. Huh?
Can you bring it back?
I mean, it comes back to me. I can't, like, I make wiggly fingers in the air. Can't, like, magic it into existence.
When's it gonna come back?
It just finds its way back to me. Oh well. Back to the flounder, or do you want to get more wings?
I'm done eating.
I'm also done.
Alright. Well, it was nice spending time with you, Faye, and nice meeting you finally, informally. We're gonna be participating in that arena fight, so, if you wanna come cheer us on, you know where we'll be. You seem busy, though, so don't expect you. See you around, I believe.
Okay. You other two, what do you do?
I'm heading back with her.
Okay.
Oh, I figured I would have just waited outside for them to say their goodbyes to Faye and stuff.
Okay.
Yes.
You go ahead. There was something else Faye wanted to show me, I think.
Sure, take your time. Do you know your way back? Or do you need some...
I can find it.
Come back.
Alright. Well, we'll see you back at the Flounder.
Don't get kidnapped.
Sure. And then Panarin and I will walk back to the Flounder, unless you have a different idea, Panarin?
Ooh, I didn't even think about what we could do. Focus on Faye. June and I are gonna talk.
Oh, okay, sure. Faye, the they took the two birds, you put them down. The weaker one, June shot to see what would happen, and then they both vanished. Puff a little purple smoke. Gone.
Interesting.
Yep. And then right after that happened, Zira and Panren were like, "Okay, peace. We're gonna head out." And Oryx reminded them that Faye promised to show her something interesting.
I vaguely recall after our discussion before we went back into the restaurant, there was something you wanted to show me. If I am misremembering, then Oryx will also peace out.
That is accurate. I am going to box up whatever the fuck remaining wings there are and get like a to-go picture.
Okay.
And then fucking grab Oryx's hand. Why the fuck is that so loud? Is that someone else's notification?
I think that's Duck coming through.
Oh.
Yes, that makes sense. I don't have notifications turned on for like standard messages.
I don't know how to turn it off.
If you right-click it, you
right-click the
can
channel and
mute
mute it.
the channel until you turn it back on. Also, you can just turn it off in general Discord settings. Anyway, yes, I'm going to.
There it is, Doug.
Sorry, I'm in settings.
You're good, dude. You're fine.
I want to grab Oryx's hand and take her back to my lab.
Mm-hmm.
By which I mean my dorm.
Yes.
And then walk her into my room and close the door and lock it, and then set my things down on my table and kind of brush my fingers off and then gesture at the sheet. I'm like, huh? Pretty
The
cool,
thing,
right?
a thing under a sheet.
Yes, a thing under a sheet.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. What do you think it is?
A new kind of turret. I think you were working on.
Close. But far. I take off the sheet to reveal a humanoid-like automaton.
How tall are we talking here?
It's approximately 6 feet tall.
Oh.
And
Okay.
It's about. It's wide, like a big buff man, but it doesn't really have like a neck or head. It's just kind of like the head's kind of like set in. I feel like I have an image somewhere. I do. I don't have the show to players function because I'm not a DM, I'm realizing. Oops. Oh well. Yeah, so it just kind of has like the head sort of set into a little divot chassis, and there's a big sort of glowing circle on the front and a couple other places that every so often will like leak a little bit of steam or light up a little bit brighter. But other than that, it just looks kind of like a big buff dude. Huh?
It's fascinating. What's its purpose? Is it like mass-produced manual labor? Are we talking
Well,
automaton army?
it could, I think, feasibly be kit for manual labor, but a lot of my brain power recently has been going to designing things for combat, mostly because of that whole decanter business. So, I think, I've obviously perfected the MACD design to the point where I can mass produce those. So, I've decided to start on something new, and maybe, if I get it down right, I might be able to find a less costly way to create one. This one's outfitted with a, what I call a matter replicator. So, if it does get destroyed, I can kind of recall the parts from wherever they're at, even if they're on another plane of existence, and reconstitute it, given enough time. But I haven't figured out a way to make more without sinking a lot of time and money into it. And also, I don't think other people could do it super well. Not to be disparaging, but I'm pretty fucking smart.
That is very apparent. So what powers this thing? How does it?
Well, runic magic, primarily, but also there's a little bit of mechanics at play here. I couldn't figure out how to get the runic magic to operate each individual piece without making it extremely complex and easily damageable. So there's actually a lot of systems of pulleys. I did have to do a little bit of biological study to figure out how musculature works, and then try and recreate it using machinery. So I did that pretty successfully. Ava, raise your arms, please. It does so, and probably touches the ceiling.
What is its
You
name?
can put it back down, thank you.
What is its name?
Ava,
Ava.
I'm fond of acronyms. It's the Artificially Intelligent Violence Automaton. She's smart, kind of. Well, she's wise. I tap the machine on its, like, I guess, like, in its groin area, so it makes a tink-tink noise. She's not that smart.
I'm sorry. I'm dying over here.
Don't worry, I don't think she gets offended. I hope she doesn't. I curse a lot.
So how extensively have you tested Ava?
Not at all. I do hear there's a sort of Coliseum type match coming up in a few days that I was hoping to sort of test her might in. I think she works well. This is another issue with the design that I've been running into. I can't find a way to make it both strong and smart at the same time without making it extremely complex and damageable. Again, mostly because most of my purview is within runic magic, and it's generally more suited to sort of simple, powerful enchantments and not something this complex. But she works best with an operator. I mean, that's the same case with MacD. Simple programming is kind of easier with MacD though, because its primary functions are so simple. But she needs to be commanded to move, or to take cover, or to attack. Basically, every time anyone would want her to do any of those things. So I would also need to teach operators if this was to be... Maybe this is a bad plan. I'm not realizing. Maybe this is a bad plan.
I mean,
She grabs her temples.
maybe test it out first and then see.
Well, that was the plan. Yes.
Oh, there we go. I think the rest of us are planning on. I mean, we heard about the Coliseum thing, not Coliseum.
Oh, you're joining.
Gladiatorial.
Fantastic. I know how you all fight, so we can also test to see how well she works in a unit. Interesting.
Sounds like a plan. I have a set of plans of my own. If you want to take a look, it's just on paper. It's not. I haven't started. I started construction, but my prototype was destroyed on the way here.
Oh, absolutely. You're already inventing? That's fantastic.
Oryx reaches into the wooden case that contains the 3 books and pulls out a rolled up piece of paper that she kind of finds a spot on the table where Ava is laying. Unrolls it, and it is a schematic for a set of wings that are metal ribbing with the struts. I had moose bones. They should have been strong enough, but
Sorry, these are meant to lift you?
Me. They're...
How big is the design?
By their nature, the wingspan, from what you can gather, is pretty substantial. Because the accommodations for her own weight would mean that, like, wingspan's gotta be at least, like, it's close to 6 feet.
Fantastic. Yeah. She looks it over. Interesting. I haven't done a lot of work with propulsion that wasn't strictly magical.
There is a certain element of magic to them. They're kind of a prosthetic. They attach, and I can just control them, like I should have been able to do.
Well, if you need any help with rigging for musculature, I think I pretty much have it down at this point.
I'll keep that in mind. My biggest issue right now is materials, but I think I have an idea, but it's...
Oh, I could help you out
take
with that
some
too.
doing. Well, the problem is I don't think something like... I was originally going to do the moose, and... I was originally going to do the moose bones and some leather, but I'm not sure that would be light enough.
No,
Or
you'll probably want
strong.
something more... you want something hard and hollow. Probably not moose bones. I'm probably going to be a little bit too dense. think I know of like a couple porous metals that might do the trick. I'll tell you what. I think I'll secure a buyer for that
The book.
book. Yes. And I'm also pretty sure I know where to get materials that could help you, but they'll be expensive. So, I'll tell you what. I need an errand run. I need to do research into black powder weapons for the city of Waterdeep, but I'm currently up to my gills and shit to do. So, if you could go do that for me, preferably before the arena starts, preferably actually by the end of tomorrow. If you could track me down like a black market weapon, maybe enlist Panarin's help, that utilizes black powder. I need to study the way it works.
Okay, I can do that.
Yep, if you do that for me, I will buy you the materials you need.
I did start looking into, when we were in Tamorden, a few alchemical concoctions that were sort of similar to black powder. All right, I blew up a tree is where we're it is the, but I think I might be able to apply some of the same principles then. I'll see what I can find. I'll talk to you.
Fantastic.
Okay. Real quick, so this is still, I believe... Oh, wait, no, this is the day after Moira wanted to spend her day with her family. I just wanted to... You mentioned essentially sending her off to do research, right?
Yes.
Okay.
She wants to get a research lord dictator.
Okay. What resources is she willing to pull for that? I just kind of want to get that out of the way before I forget it.
The first place she will check is that giant-ass library she's a member of.
Cool.
The Temple of Agma.
Yeah, the font of knowledge. Okay, cool. So we'll send her there. Do you want me to give you the information she can pick up now, or do you want me to give it after the appropriate amount of time that she would have been able to collect all that information?
After the time is fine. I think she's probably also going to drop by the founder and just let people know, like, hey, I'm going to go MIA for like 5 days and bury my nose in books.
Perfect. Appropriate. All right, excellent. Yeah, all right, so yes, off to the glamorous and well-kept library, the Font of Knowledge. Excellent. And then Faye is just going to stay and work, is that right? I just want to know who you're piloting right now, and what background stuff needs to be handled in the meantime.
Okay. So Faye's going to be attending the Coliseum to test Ava.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, we'll be looking for a buyer for the book.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to say finding a contact isn't going to be hard because you've got your contact already. The guy who bought the last one.
Mm-hmm.
The offer... Hold on, I wrote this down. One moment. Right, okay. Yes, he's willing to purchase this from you for 30k, which is a lot. Well, I say purchase. He can find someone for you who will buy it for 30k.
Fantastic.
Yep. And Oryx, Doug and June, I see you're both muted, but Doug and June, have you decided where you're going, or are you going to wait for Oryx to show up?
Yes, we have, and we are not.
Cool. Super cool. Where are you going then?
Where are we going, Jim?
So I'll probably at some point during our walk back be like, hey, Panron,
Yeah.
so about that thing on your arm,
Uh-huh.
you figure out what it is yet?
Kinda. I don't think it's something you really figure out. It's one of those universal mysteries.
She thinks for a second, and then her eyes kind of light up, and she says, well, I mean, no need to be coy about it. I kind of have, like, the same one of those universal mysteries, as you like to call it. That's a good one. I'll use that one.
Did you get yours from Xanathar too?
She... can I get a history or some sort of check to see if I recognize the name Xanathar? Or do I just know?
Spit take.
Let's do a history check. Yeah.
History or history? History. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. Well, that name, you recognize simply because your guild is by nature at odds with the guild that is named for Xanathar. Even if you know nothing else about what Xanathar is, who it is, by nature, your guild and the one that you do know that Panron is also a part of is at odds with this.
She kind of pauses and is like, wait. I like... She, like, stops, she kind of, like, pulls him aside and, like, kneels down and is like, I thought you were Zentarum.
I am. And then, like, I pull down my shirt, so... Shut up.
You have, like, a tattoo?
I do, yeah. It's
Okay.
kind of, like, halfway showing, but I pull it to reveal, like, oh.
Ooh, the plot thickens then. Well,
He just kind of, like, wide-eyed shakes his head in a way that's like, yes, I understand what that means.
so do you, is that gonna be a problem? Like, is it gonna kill you? She takes, like, the back end of her staff and, like, points at it and continues walking.
I want to say no, but he left it kind of open, so hopefully not.
Who left your patron?
Xanathar.
Right. Uh-huh. Yeah, they kind of do that, don't they? Sorry, to answer your question before, no is the answer. I'm not with, She looks around and leans down, kind of as like Xanathar. But I do kind of have a little contract with a certain somebody.
Ooh, who's your contract with?
And she looks down at him with a, really? You asked me that question? Oh, I thought it was kind of obvious with, like, the whole Raven thing. The Raven Queen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, don't tell the others, because I don't know how they're gonna react to it. But, you know, I'm not here to, like... She kind of thinks about things that could potentially be of her benefit to do to the party. I don't know, hurt you guys? I'm just here for money and work and stuff. Anyways, so he left it kind of open. Do you need help? I'm here to help, and I'm probably not like the others who would be sensitive to this sort of thing.
Are you saying you won't try to cut off my arm?
No, I understand the kind of gifts that these sorts of things allow you. It's just I don't want it to hurt you and in turn hurt me. You know, I don't want it to take over your body, you go insane and kill everybody. But if you end up
Agreed.
keeping it, like hell yeah, that's a magical weapon, I think. Is it magic? What does it
Yeah, feels magical.
do? I don't know if that's good or bad at this point, but, we'll find out. Have you looked into it? Like, any sort of formal research, libraries, anything like that?
No idea.
Well,
I don't
we are-
I don't really do libraries typically.
As in, like, do you just not in places where libraries are common, or?
It's just, like for some people libraries aren't a thing, and I'm one of those people that it's not a thing for me.
She nods.
I don't dislike them.
Right. Well, we should do some digging before we get back. Use this time where everybody's not here to, maybe get some info on how to save your sanity.
Yes, definitely.
Right. So, is there, like, a town map? Like one of those things in the malls where, like, it's like a "you are here" sign and then gives you a map of the city? Or would I just know kind of where, like, an archive or whatever would be?
You could find an archive. Naturally, the best one would be the Font of Knowledge. However, there is places you guys could be allowed to go to that most people wouldn't normally be allowed to go to if you'd like to go that way.
Yes.
Sure. I think that would be probably the most pertinent knowledge on the situation, right? Depending on what that is. Where can we go that most people can't go to?
You could go to Skullport. There are many different ways to get there. You could also, there is just a couple of locations that act as fronts and have material and stock specifically for Zentarum around. Like, this is a place where you can find connection very easily, very quickly.
All right. So would there be any, like, mages that I would know of that could, like, mechanically, I guess, cast Identify on it and not, like, be afraid of their hand melting off or it jumping to them?
I would say that most enchanters readily are capable of casting Identify. You could, if you wanted to keep it, like, low-key and secret, you could find, yes, a couple members of your group who could help you out, if not just anyone at a shop.
Great. I'll go with some folks from our team here, just because I do want to keep it low-key. Oh, wait, shit, no. Oh my god, we can't even take it to them. Oh, this is so difficult. Right. Okay, so, Fonts of Knowledge first.
Font of Knowledge first?
Yes, and then try and find some info on... I don't... Like, neither June nor Zira probably particularly knows how in or out of books Xanathar keeps himself.
Out.
Out. Very out.
Out.
Probably. But I wouldn't know that, so... I'll try.
Mhm.
You probably could be able to reason. He's a spy master. Most spy masters kind of fly under the radar, generally.
Right. Are there any, like, archives or libraries in Skullport?
That would probably be a
Yeah.
much better place to look.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
Then we're going to Skullport, Panrin.
Yeah, maybe we can find things on Lord Decanter, because he kind of made that a priority for me, and may have implied that if I don't, it'll take over my body and maybe I'll kill everybody.
Wait, he made you prioritize Lord Decanter, and as a reward for dealing with that, it would not take over your body and you kill everybody?
No, it's more of a punishment if I don't find information. Again, this was all subtext.
Right, okay, so... We'll
The type
go,
of thing you don't want spelled out.
so we'll go and look for info, but what it sounds like to me is that's kind of like you know, the thing you sacrifice to your patron, what he wants, so he doesn't, you know, and it will stay fine unless you slip on your responsibilities. I'm lucky because the Raven Queen isn't that, she's pretty cool, actually. She just wants memories and trinkets and all that fun little stuff. And
Well-
doesn't threaten me with insanity and death all the time. Yikes, dude. How did you get yourself into this?
Well, I mean, on a good note, he did smile a lot, and that's usually a good sign.
Do I know he's a beholder?
No, you rolled a 4.
Ah. I guess that's okay, but he could have been smiling evilly. You know, some people like seeing people suffer. I wouldn't know anything about that.
I mean, he seemed to be on my side.
Right. So let's go to Skullport, look at some books, maybe try and get some info on Pact with Xanathar. Oh, hey! Oh, no, I don't know that. Shit. Fucking wrong character. Oops. I don't know Harville exists. Great. Sure.
Okay. Real quick, Ted, what are you up to? What's Oryx doing? You essentially left the guild hall. Panrin and Zira are gone.
I knew they were leaving, so this is not surprising. And I will find somebody in a uniform to ask how to get back to the place we are staying, the Flounder.
Oh, I'm sorry. If Oryx is leaving, Faye will come with her to guide her back to where she's staying.
Oh, okay.
Because she's pretty certain that, A, she shouldn't be by herself being a kobold in a big city, and B, she probably doesn't know how to get around.
Okay. I would also say Faye would definitely by now, even in her low priority, like not touristy exploration of the city, would know Kobold. Maybe not big deal here, but hard to know why based on the limited exploration she has done. All right.
That's fair.
Anyway, back to the friendly Flounder. There is actually, I would assume that you, well, what are you doing once you get there?
I'm immediately looking for Panrin, so I will go up to whatever room he's staying in my room, so I will go up to my room and look around for Panrin, who is clearly not here.
No, but there is something there.
Oh.
There's something that was not there before. I should be more clear. A very small, almost a ring-sized box, made of wood.
Is there a note or a label or anything on it?
There is a note, just sitting, like, tucked underneath it.
Oh, shit.
Is it addressed to me, or is it addressed to Panrin?
It is not addressed.
I guess I will open it.
All right. The note reads, "Good work, Patsy," and that's all it says.
I will put the note back. This is clearly for Panrin, because I have no idea who Patsy is. Maybe Panrin knows who Patsy is, so I will take it with me as I go to find Panrin.
Okay. You guys finding each other is gonna be a fucking problem, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I hope.
I mean,
you don't
I'm not
find us.
expecting to find him. I'm expecting to search for a little bit and then just come back and wait.
Okay.
Isn't it also like super late?
It is. Well, you guys met for
Lunch.
dunch.
Winner.
So it would be at this point getting late.
Okay.
Okay. Viserys, you have some goals and intentions, yes? Can't hear you for saying anything.
Kristen. I see you lighting up a little bit.
Yeah, I see a light, don't hear anything.
Still light.
Nope.
No sound.
Okay, nothing yet.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
He did.
In the case of hardware like this, that means unplugging it and then replugging it in.
Yeah. We'll just we'll go back to, well, Adam left. Oh, Kirsten.
Alright, it was just
There you are.
the microphone portion was just slightly unplugged.
Gotcha.
So yes, I wanted to look into like any information that may be out there about what we might be going up against specifically. If there's basically I'm looking for like the type of rumors that's like if whoever's in charge of it was like accused of, you know, like making like intentionally like changing fights at the last moment, or if the fights are set beforehand, if I could find out any rumor going around about, oh, the first round's supposed to be this or something along those lines.
Right. And where exactly are you asking this? Because I mean, like, you know, you mentioned maybe talking to nobility, but you also have the opportunity. You could ask those questions for like at the bar you're in as well.
I think what he would try to do for that particular line of questioning is he would try to find gatherings of like, maybe not necessarily nobility, but like merchants, people who like that sort of thing, who would be watching like, I don't know, smaller fights or, you know, things that go on more regularly that he might be able to get into and ask those people there, because they seem
Okay.
like they would be more likely know.
If this helps, the tavern you guys are in right now is a gambling hall, so this would again be, and like a pretty well set one. This would be like the place to do it if you wanted to stay here. If you want to leave, that's also an option.
Okay, I guess that would make sense to do it here then, yeah.
Yeah, just, you know, it just happened to be, that just happened to be the case. Okay, why don't you roll me, let's go persuasion.
Alrighty, and I'll spend 2 sorcery points to give myself advantage.
Okay. Alright.
Not that I need it, but hey.
Okay. Where did the thing go? Oh. There it is. Okay. So there's a number of people here who are either playing poker or blackjack or other small things to do, like small gambling activity. But then there is also at the bar somebody who is very clearly taking bets and notes and is keeping a book for a small queue of individuals that, you know, with just a little bit of prying, you find out that that's they're planning on betting on. There's a couple things that they gamble on. One, what might be appearing in the Colosseum, and two, what sort of things could win against other things. Like, there are some names that are already listed because some people have already signed up, and people are placing bets on winners or for how long they might stay up, kind of thing. Like, there's a lot of things being bet on and against. And this little gnomish person seems to be handling the books quite well. He's got actually a small stack of books he keeps flipping through and taking notes in by himself. And I would say after the line is kind of filed through, you're kind of left with the gnome there, and he says, "Are you staying in town for a couple of days? Are you busy? What you working on? And how are you doing? You enjoying Waterdeep?"
Would I? I'm assuming it would probably be best not to say that I want to participate in the fight if I'm looking for information about what's going to be in the fight. I don't know if it would really matter. Viserys just says, yeah, I haven't arrived too long, but currently in Waterdeep quite a bit going on. I was actually very interested in the big fight that's supposed to come up. There's quite a lot riding on that.
Oh, yes, there's heavy numbers being placed one way or others for any number of things. Are you interested in putting anything down?
Maybe. Yeah, I've got a little bit I could put down. What do the odds look like? I mean, what are the what's the rumors going around?
Well, we've a couple of different things. We've got many groups of heroic young, well, the hero folk, as they're more known for here. Those who are travelers, adventurers, and quite adept swordsmen in general, warriors and such, gladiators. They typically can do fairly well, make it maybe to third round, and then things start getting hairy. Things can get quite nasty. There's big things in the past. I've myself have witnessed fire giants and small drakes and things, but it's always a surprise, and it's always so exciting and interesting. What sort of winnings are you looking to make, boy?
Well, I'm hoping to hit quite big.
Well, if you want to make a lot of money, obviously you should bet on some of these squishier folks. But be careful who you're picking, because it's quite easy for them to and he draws a finger across his throat.
Yeah, that's a fair point. They don't let the gladiators die, do they?
Oh,
Seems
well,
no.
No. There's
Okay. You mean metaphorically? I get you.
Yes, there's many members of clerical orders who stand just outside the reaches of the cages, and let down a hail of stabilizing magic. They never do anything too helpful. Although there was a big scandal a couple of years ago when someone definitely tried to pick up a fallen hero, and after that they put up some special borders, some roofing, some circles and such. I'm not particularly well versed, but now spells can't get in or out, and it is, in general, better, I think. It kind of obscures the view a little bit, but it makes the fights a little bit more interesting. Just see them laying there and watching everyone else panic while they're trying to figure out how to get them back up. It adds a little bit of color, I think.
Oh, fair enough. I imagine it's also probably a little bit more fun if you don't have to worry about a stray fireball hitting the stands.
Oh, certainly. And there used to be countermeasures for that as well. Although it did mean that oftentimes what looked like a as you say, stray fireball coming right for the crowd, it was immediately dispelled, and that did mean that there were some pretty ornery competitors, that there were that magic was being cancelled out before it could hit its mark. But as time comes, as the sport evolves, it becomes a little bit more. Maybe civil isn't the right word, but better for the audience.
Mm-hmm. I think I get what you're getting. Well, do they ever like make two of the gladiator groups like fight each other as one of the rounds?
Oh yes, in basics, it's very common for the audience's perspective, 2, maybe 3 rounds of combat. That is the gladiators against each other, and then the strongest of those move on to more bestial forms, and sometimes there's, and then after that, the monstrous creatures and such. It gets it's pretty well paced.
So it's like tiered. So like the beginning ones are easier, and the last one's super hard, right? It's not completely random.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, who are the gladiator groups that are seen as most likely to win or last the longest currently?
Well, I've got a number right now, and he flips through one of the books and he says, "I've got a group called the Flock of Seagulls. I don't know why. That's why they named themselves that. But Flock of Seagulls, group of, I think, pirates more or less. They seem pretty brawny. And then there is the
They got any magic users, or just dudes who punch stuff?
He looks over it and he says, as per most ship regulation, there might be a deck wizard in their number, but I don't know if they have one per se. I just have the name and the names of the individuals.
Oh, that's fair enough. Could I the names so I can see if any of them are wizard? That would kind of influence my religion, that would like.
Sure. And he gives you the names. There are 6 in that group. Roll insight for me. It would have. I would say. I know it sounds stupid, but like 9 of with a 19. There are 2 that you wouldn't recognize by name as per se wizards, but they have titles that either indicate like a cleric or an arcanist of some kind.
Okay, like the brilliant or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
While he's showing you the list as well, you can clearly see that there is a lot of slots and a lot of groups. This is just the one that he says, from his information, looks like might stand the best chance.
Okay, so it's gonna be pretty unreasonable to try and get all the names and try and look all of them up.
Yes.
All right. Well, these guys seem like they're probably going to be. Well, this guy thinks they're going to be the biggest challenge, so he'll at least do like some surface level looking around. But nothing too crazy. So is there like a big capstone beast that like they're bringing out for this? I mean, it seems like the type of thing where they want to like have like a big finale. Have you heard anything about that?
Oh, certainly. I've heard some things, but it's hard to piece it all together. It's kept very, very secret. I I heard there was someone who was hospitalized for, I say hospitalized, someone who was taken in with some particularly nasty bleeding wounds, just raked across the chest, but it's, I mean, most big, scary things have claws, so...
That sounds like quite the terror. But I guess if it's held in the highest secrets, I mean,
He
is there?
pulls a coin out from his pocket and just kind of lightly spins it on the ground, or on the table next to him. And he says, "There's a little back and forth about different things that could be there, but it's all rather hush hush, and the people I know don't take sharing information cheaply."
Ceres goes, "Oh, I see. Tell you what. That chair you're sitting on looks a little uncomfortable. I think you should get yourself like a nice fancy one. Make a nice donation for you. I think you deserve better." Rosaris will say, "How much do you think a good chair will cost you these days?"
A good chair, 10 gold. A great chair, 20.
Well, I think if you were persuasive enough, you could probably get a great chair for 15.
I'd say that'd be a high-end chair, but maybe not a fabulous chair.
Can I get a sense of what exactly I would be getting differently comparatively to how much I give him? So I'm not really sure. I kind of thought this was an all or nothing game, but he's making it sound like a different levels game, and I'm confused now.
I would say that he's willing to part with more information or better information for more money.
Sure, why not? We'll be filthy rich when we win this. Racera says, "Well, you know what? I think you deserve a fabulous chair," and is going to pull out 20 gold pieces.
Thank you. And he quickly slides that over in a little stack, runs his thumb over it, and without looking, counts it, and then pockets it, and he says, "There is something very big that was moved through the city earlier, and from what I understand, it has really large teeth, big claws, electrical sense, I suppose is a good way of saying it, and might reek of the dead."
It's a very interesting big creature. But you've certainly given me quite a lot to think about. I definitely appreciate that, and I will see you around. I'll look into those bets a little bit more. You have a great time, all right?
Pleasure.
Ceres will dip out.
All right. Cool.
Can I? I'm having a little bit of trouble figuring out what that might be. What could I roll to try and narrow that down? And also, I'm gonna go look it up. But can I get a nature check to try and narrow that down?
I would say insight for this specifically. It's so him saying very big isn't super helpful. Him saying undead and him saying, like, he's simply stinking of death makes you think it's probably an undead something. I would also say, using the words he gave you, that's the thing. Is like a 19 is a really good success, but based on the information he gave you, it's not a this is instantly what you would know.
Well, what does an electric sense mean to me?
I would say that even with unclear verbiage, I would say electrical sensitivity, and not like it's sensitive to electricity, but more of attuned with electrical, with lightning, if that makes sense.
Okay, so attuned with lightning.
Thank you.
Yes. So if Moira said she was gonna go to that big fancy library of hers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Viserys will. Is there anybody that's here right now, or is everybody gone?
Everybody is left.
Alright. Yeah, Viserys is just gonna make a beeline for Moira to see if she can help him track down what that might be.
Okay, cool. If that's the case, we're going to call break. When we get back, we'll meet back up with I just got my pizza here, so I'm hungry. We'll go back to Razik, and then we'll just kind of go back down the list through who we've been through so far, and get you guys a bunch of information. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back into this game. I see Doug muted himself. Doug, are you there? Adam.
I am
Adam. All right, cool. Ted, you here?
I am. It's just not behind me.
Okay. Ted, I think I heard you say yes. Okay. Tristan, you there? Tristan. Oh well, it's okay. We're split party anyway, so. Okay. Starting back at the top, we have Adam, who is being escorted by Decker to the druids, as he has been told. Adam, you are you are taken deep into the trades ward, towards some structures that are kind of incredibly tall, narrow buildings. But before you reach that section of the of these towers, this block, you are taken instead to this incredibly large estate that is completely walled in by soft stone that has moss and ivy growing over the entirety of it. The front gate of which is partially opened, but if the doors were closed, and again, the large estate gate, there would be the profile of an elk painted onto a crest on the door. Decker gets closer. She pulls out her staff and begins to pry the door open a little bit farther to let you in, and just says, "You ready? You ready to meet some druids?"
Yes, I believe I am.
All right, cool. These are all family friends. I think you'll like them. Well, I would assume so. I don't know you very well, but you have a lot of enthusiasm for someone who, upon hearing the word druid, was ready to go. And she's walking as she's pulling herself along inside. And the interior of this structure, the inside of this wall, is completely overgrown with incredibly fragrant and blossoming plants, bushes of different kinds, then trees that are bearing fruit even in this completely off season, and fruits that you've definitely never would have seen before, like tropical fruits and and things that need like a climate to thrive, which this has not been a warm climate. It feels warmer here and kind of dense and a little muggy. Very nostalgic for you, realistically. There is a spring of water that is running a what's the word? A small, not canal, what's the word? A small little brook through the estate that is divided off and leading tiny little streams and rivulets across this courtyard. And the opposite side of the courtyard is a building that is smooth and well hidden by some of the surrounding trees, but is painted with is painted with plants and animals and an almost like tapestry like mural with the prominent figure on it being a white unicorn. And the sound of the door opening brings a very, very old halfling, a male halfling, has long since lost his hair and is wearing mostly skins. And like he's wearing hides and such, and he addresses Decker when she enters, and says, "Aida, you're there. It's been a long time since we've seen you. It's so good to have you back." And she fully like rolls her head on her shoulders and she says, "I don't like that name. Can you please call me by the name I've given you a few times?" And he just chuckles and says, "You know, your mother would be rather sad to know that you don't like the name you've given her, that she's given you." And she just huffs, and then turns to you, Razik, and says, "Razik, this is the patriarch of the Snow Beetle family. His name is Blossom." And she doesn't really spit the name, but there's like a little bit of a sarcasm to the tone she uses. And he chuckles and says, "Yes, my name is Blossom. I don't suppose there's anything wrong with that. All right. And your name, Razik, I hear." And he walks over to you and holds out a hand for you to shake.
Entirely in Druidic, I just start rambling. Yes, my name is Razik. I am from originally from a swamp far to the south and east of here, and but there was lots of water, so I couldn't stay there. And then I went through the woods, and there was some trouble. But a dragonborn named Ixalos, who is also a druid, he helped protect me. And then he told me that I should continue traveling north. And then I eventually found Agnes, and she is also a druid. And then she told me that I should go with these people, and they are my friends now. And we many things tried to kill us, but we killed many things. And then we ended up in Waterdeep. And those are the only two druids I knew until now. Yes, Blossom. My name is Razik.
He's still standing there with his hand extended, but his fingers kind of lightly start to relax and crack, as it's very clear that you are in this trance-like recital of your life story. And he says, and there's a visible withdraw as you begin spouting this information from Decker, and she says, "Oh shit," and Blossom gives her a reprimanding look, and she said, no, sorry, right, cursing, and she draws a finger to her forehead and then touches her chest and looks up to the sky and then says, "I apologize." He's like looking upwards,
Razzie gives her the side eye.
Rabbi Richmond, oh god.
And she says, could you... I'm not gonna ask you to repeat that whole thing, because that seemed like that took like a lot out of you. But could you rewind a little bit to that part where you mentioned the druids you knew? What were their names?
Yeah, prior to this moment, I only knew two druids. One's name was Ixalos, and one's name was Agnes.
She has a very crooked smile, kind of showing half of her teeth,
Mm-hmm.
and she says, Agnes Calrook?
Yes, that is the very Agnes. Do you know Agnes? She's very smart. She's very wise.
She puts her good arm out in a big gesture and says, yeah, dude, that's my mom.
Yeah.
Yes, got it.
Yeah. But isn't that fortuitous that I should bump into you here? Agnes will be delighted. When is the last time you saw your mother?
Oh, like 30 years ago, dude. Don't worry about it. No, we're cool. Dude, do you know what? Do you want me to like call her? Do you want me to like get a hold of her for you?
Yes, I would love to speak with Agnes. I haven't spoken with Agnes in many weeks, and I miss her. She's very helpful. She's very nice.
Oh yeah, dude. My mom's great. No, she's really cool. No, she's awesome. No, both my moms are like super cool. Yeah, cool, dude. Blossom, dude. I totally met someone who knows my mom. Like, clear out here. Someone who came to the city knows my freaking mom's. And he's kind of standing there, obviously very taken aback by the enthusiasm and the excitement. And he says, well, all right. Well, if this is what we're going to be doing, then why don't you both come with me? And he takes you into the city. Sorry, not in the city, in the building. And he approaches the painting of the unicorn, which when he gets closer to it, a seam opens and a hidden door, an enchanted door pulls back and reveals a chapel. Well, first of all, there's like a parting way to either side of a door farther in, and then beyond that farther door is an open chapel that is brightly lit from a stained glass mural and wooden structuring that all appears to be grown from the ground, that all looks like it's carved from a tree. Realistically, it's hard to tell whether or not that would be true just from where you're standing, but it all looks like it is the inner parts of a tree. But he takes you down the left hallway and into a pretty dark, a pretty dim, not tunnel, just a dark hall. Which, as he's moving, he taps his staff against the walls, and little torches light as he walks. And then he brings you to this quiet chamber that looks like some private quarters. Which have like a little cot, actually two cots suspended from the wall, and a wardrobe and a desk and a chair. And he goes into the wardrobe and pulls out a dish, a silver dish. He lays out and then summons water from his palm into, and begins waving his hand over it in a circular motion, palm down, and backs away to let you and Decker approach. And after a moment, the swirling water settles itself, and you can see Agnes in the reflection of the water. And it's interesting because from what you see, you look like you are looking down into a reflecting surface. The silver dish is letting you see yourself very clearly, but it looks like you are projected against this image of her in her own tent. It is again like the evening, and she is talking, and almost as soon as the water stills, Decker's like, "Mom!" And she immediately spins. Oh, darling, you do understand that talking through Dream is a little bit easier. You know, Vivian would very much like if you would talk to her as well. Yeah,
Hello,
I know, but
Agnes.
Dream
Hi.
talk is...
Hello, Agnes.
Razik! Razik!
Hello.
Hello! And
Hello.
you see that she's reaching towards where you are in the reflection, and you can feel her hands on the sides of your face.
Oh, nifty.
And she says, "Oh, it's so good to see you. How are you doing?" I'm sorry, we talk like once a week. And she's like, fine. And she says, "Razik, how are you? Where are you? Are you in Waterdeep?"
I'm in Waterdeep. Your daughter's very nice. I got kind of, well, not lost so much, but more like I didn't know where I was, and she saw me and saw that I was a bit confused because I was looking for a flounder, but I couldn't find it, and so she helped me, and she mentioned that she knew some druids, and I said, "Oh, I like druids," and so she brought me here to the Emerald Enclave, and that's where we figured out that she is your daughter, and that's what then she had Botham create this mechanism where we could speak with each other, and now we're talking. Hello.
Hello. Oh, it's so good to hear you. It's so good to hear you. That you're doing so well. And she turns around to the projected image of Decker and pinches Decker's cheek, and you can see like her cheek being pulled a little bit to the side. Ow, Mom! And you hear she waves her hand in the direction, and you hear the slap of skin on skin. And she says, "Well, how are things for you? Is everyone all right? Is everyone safe?"
Yeah, everyone is safe for the most part. Willowin has decided not to travel with us anymore. She is staying at her home with her wife in Thicomba, but we have a new traveling companion, Zero, who I don't know very well, but I'm sure we will get to know, or I will get to know as we travel more. It's a little confusing because I am doing my best to keep everybody safe, but it seems like they are very intent on putting themselves in danger. They are interested in some gladiatorial combat here in Waterdeep, which doesn't sound like the best of ideas. And it sounds like many of the members of our group are interested in finding out more information and potentially doing something about a Lord Decanter fellow.
Wow. A lot has happened in 2 weeks.
Yes, it's amazing.
Yes. Oh my.
How are things there?
Oh, fine. We saw part of the mountain blow up, but it was fine. No one got hurt. As far as we know, we didn't go look.
Do you know why the mountain blew up?
Say, was that us? I don't think that was us.
I don't actually know. No. We didn't.
But no one there is in danger. You're not in danger, are you?
Oh no, we are far from the mountain still. This valley is rather secure, although we have been considering moving after seeing the mountain blow up.
Do you know which direction you would move in if you decide to move?
Well, Vivian and Erlith have discussed possibly headed back south. But if we do move, I will be sure to let you know. I will be able to speak to you while you sleep if you'd like, and I can tell you where we are headed so that we are not too far from you.
Yeah, that would be excellent. I would hate to return that way only to find you gone. I could definitely track you, but it would be much easier if I knew where you were going.
Yes, of course. No, I would never. I don't think I could possibly dream of abandoning you. And she laughs.
Well, thank you.
The rest of those fuckers. Fuck them.
And so this combat, are you intending on? You would naturally be with the others, yes?
Well, yes. I mean, I can't let them fight on their own. They'll get themselves killed. Many of them are quite reckless.
And she nods very thoughtfully.
So,
And
if that's what they're going to do, I will join them.
and then what? What do you want to do after that, Razik?
Well, I guess I will continue on with this group. I would like it very much if we would all just settle down and stop looking for trouble, and live a nice peaceful life somewhere where there are many more trees and there's some water or something. But that does not seem to be appealing to this particular group. And well, since they are the only group of individuals who have truly accepted me as who I am, and are not afraid of me or do not try and avoid me, I think it is best I stay with them, even if our lesser goals do not always align. Maybe after we take care of this Decanter fellow, people will be more inclined to stop looking for trouble.
Perhaps. There's always trouble, Razik. Trouble usually finds everyone eventually.
Well, yes, and I guess that is true. I know that it's true for the animals in the wild, so I don't see why it would be different for us. But what I am learning is that I am very good at keeping animals that like to find trouble alive. And so, for the time being, I will continue doing that.
She smiles and reaches out, and you feel her running a hand, like on the top of your head. And she says, "You are a very smart creature."
Yeah, I keep telling everyone that.
I don't suppose they think that highly of you as far as an intelligent creature, then, if that is something you have to keep insisting.
No, they like that I keep them alive, but they much like I don't understand their motivations, they don't seem to understand mine.
Decker looks at you and says, "Well, what's your motivation then, dude?"
Well, as I said, I want to avoid as much trouble as possible. I have spent my life fighting just to keep myself alive from the elements of nature, and I've learned quite a bit about them from that struggle. But I don't look for that fight anymore, and I think it would be best if there was a nice little hut or a nice little village out in the woods, and with a nice place to go swimming, right? And just with as little difficulty and as little trouble as possible. That sounds like a nice, quiet, peaceful life, and I think that would be wonderful. But as Agnes said, trouble seems to find everyone, and what I have learned is that when I have tried to achieve that on my own, invariably trouble will come find me. Usually in the form of creatures that just do not like me or find me threatening. And so now that I have found a group that feels neither of those ways, I will continue along with them, and even if they do not understand my motivation currently, eventually they will, and eventually they will see that I am smart, and eventually, well, maybe hopefully, I will be able to convince them that trying to murder everything that you come across is not the way to a good, long, healthy life.
I don't know. I think it's kind of fun, and there's an audible slap as Agnes whacks Decker's shoulder. And she says, "Well, it's good to hear from you both, naturally." And she pinches Decker's cheek again, and says, "I don't suppose then that there's much I can do besides send you occasional dreams, Senrazic, and we can talk a little bit then."
That would be very nice. And if maybe Deca or Blossom, if they could continue to converse with me, because I haven't had anyone to talk with about my druidic practices. And if you decide to move, if you could please make sure to take all the spears that I made with you, so that when we get back, I can make sure that Oryx gets in.
"Oh, yes, is that what these were for?" And she reaches over, apparently there's one, like, just out of your sight, and she lifts it up.
And Razik sort of rolls his eyes, and he's like, "Yes, well, Penryn seemed very concerned about getting Oryx a gift, and so I thought about it, and I made them so that Penryn could give them to Oryx, but then all of a sudden, Penryn was no longer interested in giving Oryx a gift, so now they are just spears that I need you to move if you decide to move south."
"I won't leave anything behind, don't you worry. I'll make sure I've got everything in count and together. Don't you worry." Well, is there anything else you'd like to speak with me about before I... And then suddenly there is a shriek and a crashing of pots and pans, and you see Vivian with the most emphatic expression just running up, and you see Decker just get knocked the fuck over by the spiritual weight of her mother, and see her struggle to push her off and then get back up. And she says, "And that's why I don't call mother." And Vivian says, "Oh, hi, Razik. I'm so sorry. Is it okay if me and Decker talk for a minute?"
Absolutely. Blossom, maybe you could show me around.
"Of course." And he pulls you back out, and says, "This would be your first time in Falconmere, I would presume."
Is that the name of this place?
"It is. It's a very old estate, belonging to a gentleman named Meliander. He's donated it kindly to the Enclave, as well as someone very, very special. Perhaps you've heard her name. I mean, her name is upon the building itself. Thereth Falcon." He looks at you very expectantly, as if you should know who.
I just look at him blankly.
Yeah, there's not any way you would know.
Right.
And he says, "Would you like to meet her?"
Sure, that sounds wonderful.
He takes you back towards the chapel, and then turns into its open doorway, and beckons you follow. And the mural, or the stained glass that you see now, is all golden and orange, and it is an illustration of a sunrise and of a woman with red hair under a tree, and the branches are climbing down, like falling down around her, and what's the word? Just surrounding her in general. And at the altar at the chapel, he stands and waits very patiently for maybe 30 seconds, and without having said anything, another door at the cell at the front of the chapel opens, and a tall woman, easily 6 feet, if not taller, with trailing red hair that reaches the ground and drags behind, and a golden robe, steps out, and she, as soon as she is visible, there's not a way to not look at her. She is glowing, literally, and just draws your attention intentionally. She wears a crown, which looks like it is made of twisted ivory, and she says, Blossom, you bring a guest. And she looks at you and says, what is your name?
I won't actually do it, but Razik does the whole thing again.
Yeah. And she has a peaceful expression the entire time, the whole time that you're speaking, and says, yeah, well, it is very pleasant to meet you, Razik of the Southern Swamp. And your presence in Waterdeep is acknowledged and appreciated. It is all good to have a kindred natural spirit in our midst. I am Jirinth, the High Priestess to the Temple of Leaky, and blood of her kind. Is there a service that I can offer you? Do you require assistance with anything?
Well, I think I will be joining my friend in some sort of fight here in the city, some sort of sanctioned fight. If you know anything about that, because I don't know much at all.
Ah, yes. Unfortunately, there is some knowledge of this combat I'm familiar with. As the resident druid circle Waterdeep, there is some permission that we are forced to allow for such combat, and it is trying for creatures such as myself and for Blossom and other residents here to see such violence that is so directly, incomprehensibly superficial.
Yeah, it sounds like a bad idea to me too, but I can't, if my friend's engaging, I can't let them get themselves killed.
Naturally. I happen to know, with no small amount of discomfort, that there be in attendance as a competitor a devil creature of some sort, of power not unlike my own, but in a very different way. As such, there might be something I can afford to offer you, if this is something you would like, to protect you, some of your companions.
Yeah, protection sounds wonderful.
All right. Oop. We there? Oh, he's gone. There he is.
And if she mentions it's a blessing, I'm crashing Discord again.
She withdraws from her robes a necklace that has dangling charms at its hanging from it, and says a necklace of prayer beads might come in useful if that is might find useful.
Oh well, thank you very much.
And I will get that hand. Sorry, 1 second. And do you have any questions for us here?
Well, may I return here after we conduct this fight? I think I probably have many questions for you.
Of course, naturally. I have little else to occupy my time. You may rest here as well if you prefer as well.
Well, that's lovely. I will go back and confer with my companions, and I look forward to seeing you soon. I only have two more quick questions. One is do you know where the flounder is? Because that's where they are, and I'm all this running around. I'm a bit turned around.
Oh, it is. It's a ways westward on the docks. I can have someone take you there if you'd like.
Well, that would be wonderful. And just before I go, I was curious. I may find myself in the market for something called a manual of bodily health. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
I am quite familiar with this. Yes. Why?
Well,
Is this-
do you know how much I would have to raise in order to purchase one of those?
Quite a bit of money. Several thousand coins. Why? Is this something you're looking for?
Well, yes, it might be. And I might know someone who also wants to buy one. But since I've never heard of such a thing before, right? I don't want to acquire it for a lot of money and then sell it for a little money. I'd rather do it the other way around, I think.
Yes. No. It is incredibly valuable.
But you wouldn't know like an exact value, would you?
She puts her hands together and puts them to her lips, and her eyes flare a very brilliant white light for a moment, and then she says, I can't imagine anyone purchasing it for less than 50,000 gold.
Okay, thank you. That seems like an awful. That is a lot of gold, right?
It is a vast fortune for
Okay.
rumors.
Well, when I come back, among other things, maybe someone can help me understand how money works in the city. I seem to have a difficult time with all the different metals.
Okay. She takes this humorously.
That's it for Razik, by the way.
Yeah, pretty much. And you are brought back to the flounder.
Is anybody here?
I don't think yet, technically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uncharacteristically for Razik, is somebody at the bar?
Yeah.
Is someone tending the bar? Anybody sitting at the bar? What's the scene like there?
It's evening. Yeah, there are a lot of sailors drinking, and then there's someone tending.
Razik is just very chatty, no specifics, but just in general about druids and asking people if they were aware that there are druids in the city and that type of thing. But that's about it.
Beautiful. Can I get a charisma check?
Yeah, hell yeah. Because Razik is nothing if not charismatic.
Mm-hmm. Oh!
Fuck yes.
Oh, good. A 2 minus 1. Very good. That is exactly right. There's...
Thought he was talking fast in Falconmere. He's talking 10 times faster now. People are trying to drink, and he's giving them the elbow to get their attention. It's fantastic.
Okay, let's do Doug and June, Panrin and Azira. So you are planning on going to Skullport, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So
Actually,
which I know this isn't super helpful, but well, Panrin has an entrance now. Is this the way that you would choose to go again?
I think I'd show her that.
Is it through the bar behind the tavern?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, behind the in the kitchen and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that'd be the only entrance that I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this takes some time to travel down. There's actually, you are not questioned when you approach the bar, actually, Panrin specifically, because you are now recognized, and are allowed back into the kitchen to the trapdoor, down the stairs, through the tunnel into the city. And the best place to go, well, there's a couple places you could choose to go. You could go to the one place that definitely at least Zero would know about, if not have been there before, the Keel Hall, which is a fest hall that is used by Zentarum as a meeting location and also vaguely recreational. And then there is what?
I just like the idea of vaguely recreational. That just tickles me for some reason.
And there is also a place called Dead Man's Corner, which is a shop with, which is a shop that has a library, not a library, but like books and such research available there. What kind of location are you looking to find? Something familiar or something not familiar at all?
Well, I mean, looking for, I guess, anywhere that would have more, like, magical information rather than, like, just straight up, like, oh, history stuff.
Okay.
You know, the kind, but more like, you know, packed magic, like the more unsavory stuff.
All right.
Common
I think I definitely got it with Dead Man's Corner.
Okay.
A dilapidated building that is run by. It is actually it's in the lower level of Skullport, which is first of all it reeks. There's trash everywhere, and you can hear water not far from anywhere you turn. Running water, and deep running water. Some kind of underground river or lake. And this shop is advertised. It's advertised as a magic shop, and in the inside it reeks of death and rot and like flesh rot, and is lit by a caged lantern, and there is a woman with oily dark hair. She smells of driftwood and sun-baked seaweed, and she has bulbous eyes and mostly no teeth. And when you enter, she says, "Hello there, new folks. Is there something I can retrieve for you?" And she smiles, and there's no teeth.
Would you happen to have any tomes on packed magic?
Of course I would. What sort of pact might you young folks be interested in making today?
Oh no, not
the
making.
kind with tentacles.
Right. Specifically, maybe a name that's, we're not interested in making the pact, but just, you know,
browsing only today?
She leans over, despite the stench, and, says, anything on Xerothar?
Her head slowly twists to face you, and it kind of looks like her neck is stretching in a way that makes the turn more unnatural. And she says, "Of course." And she creeps back into her into the back of the shop, and pulls out a few, looks like manuals. One of them is brightly colored and decorated, and it says, "Selling your soul for kids." And then the other one is a much more serious tome that has the binding of which looks like it is crafted like tentacles clutching the spine, and then a little eye, well, like a large eye across the center, and in the pupil a stamped but not painted goldfish.
Either of these look promising, Panron?
Sorry, say that again.
Either of these look promising, Panron? Well, Panron deliberates on that. I'm going to...
Oh, sorry, I said the one with the fish on it.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to take both. I'm going to take both of them and kind of. Will she let me just take them and flip through them?
She'll let you flip through them, but if you plan on sitting there and reading, she will ask that you buy them.
How much is she asking?
25 gold each.
I look at Panron. Actually, you know what? Okay, so I'm going to flip through the children's one first.
Okay.
Right? And
It's
looks so I'm going to look specifically for like cautionary, like don't do this, avoid doing that sort of thing, or like just in case you get your, parasites. Sort of thing.
Right. The thing that you notice is that none of the things here are warnings. It's very much just do
Encouraging.
it. It's exciting and fun. It will lead you on many great adventures, and no harm could possibly come of this.
Right.
Well, that sounds promising.
So, in that case, I'm going to go ahead and buy the actual Xanathar's one for 25. I'll plunk down the 25 gold and take the book, and kind of like on the way out be like, well, you owe me for this one if it works.
Okay. Do you take this somewhere, or what do you do?
I'll go ahead and let's head back. I'll go ahead and take a look over it, and just so we don't, you don't go ahead and be like, oh, the one with the tentacle has the Xanathar book, and be like, everyone look at this guy, he's made a pact to Xanathar. I'll go ahead and look it over, because I'm already the witch or whatever, and yeah, I'll let you know if I find anything. Sound good?
Wait, I want to see what's in it.
Okay, I mean, you can read it with me. I'm not saying don't, just like, I don't want you to be like in possession of it so people don't get suspicious,
Oh, yeah. No, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to take it back to the Flounder?
Yes.
Great. Cool. We've got a good bedside read.
Ooh.
I meant more like a...
Yeah, tuck him in and read him a bedtime story.
Yeah. No, he can't.
That's not important.
See, that's what I was getting at. It's more like a bedtime story than...
Hey, part of being illiterate is making other people believe you can...
Right.
Learn to
Okay.
fucking read.
Anything you want while we're down here, Panron? It's kind of a walk, and I hate the smell.
What time is it?
It's late now.
Yeah, we
I assume that we can't see the sun, so I can't give you a.
Correct.
we should head out. They tend to get a little anxious when I'm gone for too long.
Oh,
More like
really?
just
I
start planning your
couldn't imagine why. All right, let's get out of here. Take the fucking trek back up.
How long's
Okay.
Bannerman been gone? Alright, let's get the funeral fun going.
Okay. Faye and Oryx. You are intending on finding a firearm, yes?
Or explosive. We're not.
Did I already secure a buyer?
You found your connection was able to find someone who was willing to buy it for 30K.
Can I set a meeting so that I can talk that price up?
Sure. When would you like to have that meeting?
The day after the Coliseum.
Cool.
Cause that sounds low. That was lower than I got for the manual golems, and the manual golems is less rare.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So what exactly are the two of you doing? How are you going about whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish today?
Well, Panarin's not around, so
So what?
does Oryx have any ideas? Cause that was my idea.
Okay.
That was also Oryx's idea, but you're part of a guild, right? That makes stuff. Maybe somebody there knows. Maybe there's an alchemist guild we can talk to.
Well, my guild's primarily machinists, locksmiths, and metalworkers, but there is an alchemist guild we can talk to. We're not trying to procure black powder, though. We need a black powder weapon.
Hmm.
I've heard tell that they exist, but I haven't had time to actually look into getting one. From what I hear, it's pretty hush-hush, black market stuff most of the time. Do you know anyone who knows how to get access to a black market?
Other than Panrid? No.
What about tall, dark, and handsome with the black hat and the suspicious crow? Sorry, Raven.
Oh, Zira.
Yes,
Do you think she does
Angry
black
squawking
market
noises.
stuff?
I mean, she looks the part.
She does have a hat like Panrid.
Yes.
Oh my god.
The connecting
I love Oryx
dots.
so much.
Right, Deck.
Exactly. Exactly my reasoning.
Oryx and Faye, what is your... you were talking about the suspicious hat people in your party?
Yes. So with that out of the way, I guess I will just have to pursue a more legitimate means and just talk to people in my guild because that was the best idea we've come up with so far.
Okay.
Hey, you hear tell of where I can get my hands on some black powder weapons?
Yes. Why don't you roll a charisma check for me?
I will give myself advantage
Okay.
by casting enhance ability beforehand.
Alright.
I assume this is like a persuasion? By
Yeah.
charisma?
Yeah.
How is there so many deep?
That could have been so funny. A dirty 20, someone is able to tell you, like, someone who has had the opportunity to look over a black powder weapon before said he got them from, give me a second. Members of Regan de Arth, some of the drow folk who live above ground in Waterdeep.
Oh, is that like a family?
It's a It's actually a faction, technically.
Sorry, Brigandarth. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
aware. I'm now aware. I'm now remembering.
Yeah.
Is Faye aware?
I was a little confused.
Roll history. Huh. Yes, they come in every once in a while, and they have, mostly male drow come in, to your guild hall, when on the rare occasion that something happens with a firearm that they need a little assistance with, and they don't want to go to, and this is all information that you're getting from this guy, they don't want to go back down to Skullport to get it taken care of. It's a bit of a hassle.
That makes sense, especially since people in Skullport probably don't have the best of business practices. Okay, all right. So I will take a look at Oryx and just kind of glaze-eyed, point-blank ask, so, do you have problems with drow?
I don't think so.
Great.
I don't think
Our
I've ever
people have
met
a
one.
blood feud, so,
Wait, what?
what?
You said something about a blood feud?
Oh, yeah. Sort of, sorry. You're probably unaware of this. I don't think you are kind of tuned into the sort of geopolitical state of the underground. But, my people and your people hate each other. Also, my people and their
No,
people
that I
hate
know.
each other. And I assume their people and your people hate each other. Because everyone who lives underground seems to hate each other. But I'm gonna go ask around anyway, because I think the Brigandarth dudes are kind of chill. I haven't talked to one before, but they seem more level-headed than most of their kinfolk.
Seems worth the try. What is the whole point of getting this black powder weapon? Like, what's the ultimate end goal here?
Oh, I promised someone I would look into it for, well, slightly out of curiosity, and on the other hand, I will help, obviously, progress my weapon machinations, and on the other hand, it will net me some political clout if I can unlock the secrets to black powder weapons and give them to Waterdeep's military.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't you want a gun?
I also, you could have just visited Willowin's house. Should have stayed with us.
Okay. So you guys go searching out Brigandarth, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Let's actually no. This individual is actually pretty easy to find. Even with a little bit of asking the your companion, able to point you towards I believe. Ooh, I've got to remember. A location, a locale out in the dock ward. A small merchant's ward within, well, a small merchant's block within the dock ward. That is dominated by fishermen, but also supplies, and then very, very likely also shady. And a little bit of prying points you in the direction of a merchant named Felric. And Felric's establishment is very well maintained for as dilapidated as the rest of the block is. The porch is very tidy. The window is clean despite salty sea winds, and the interior is, the windows are actually like clean but curtained, and there is a single light within the building itself. And when you enter, you can see a shifting a little ways away. Like, you both have dark vision, and it's easier to see in here. But even as it's getting towards evening, it's so much darker inside this building than it is outside. But
I'm sorry, what's the name of this place again?
This building actually is sorry. It's called let me type that for you. Leifines Collections. There you go. You can see in the dark that there is a display, an array of my words are just not coming the way they need to right now. Typical adventuring gear, as well as specifically a lot of fishing gear, and then also extensively different types of rations, clearly targeted towards people of different types who have specialty diets and other things. The lantern light reflects very short, cropped white hair, and when you enter, there is a soft as little balls of light spring forth from the direction of that individual and light up the whole room, which is actually very densely packed but very tightly fit and organized with gear of all kinds, and this drow individual with very long pointed ears, short hair, and tight-fitting clothes, and he looks at you both and immediately turns back to what he is working on and just says, "Whenever you're ready, bring it to the counter."
I don't think what we're looking for will be found amongst your front store wares.
He doesn't turn around and he says, "And why might that be?"
They're rare.
What sort of rare?
We are looking for black powder weapons
Why?
to study and utilize.
Why?
Well, I have a personal interest. I am a machinist and a rune mage. I gesture to some of the random magic bullshit I have all over myself. I believe I've developed a sort of improvement on the formula, and I would like to test it.
He still does not look in your direction at all. And he says, "And what sort of addition to such technology do you really think that you provide?"
A replicator.
Roll persuasion, just flat.
I'm going to use Flaccid Genius to add 5 to that roll.
Okay.
Oh, flash of genius. Okay.
Yep.
You know what?
I
Actually,
heard-
I think I'm going to burn Inspiration to reroll it as well.
I heard
Okay.
heard flaccid genius. I was really fucking confused.
Oh,
27.
yes, 27. He says,
Good inspiration right there.
yeah. He says, "Repeating shot," and he turns in half profile towards you.
Yes. It currently works on crossbows, but I need to get my hands on the machinery and the ammunition before I can modify it.
His large eyes just blink slowly, and he says, "And But what sort of motivation might I have to provide you with such tools for you to work on?
Well, it depends on what you want. Because I have money, but you don't strike me as the type to just want money. I have power if you want a favor. And, honestly, a little stroke of brilliance if you've need of that.
The very large pupiled eyes flick in your direction and then back to what he's got in his hand, and he says, 2 of those things hold little interest to me, but I could be persuaded by coin.
Fantastic. Let's talk numbers.
He says, there we go. He says, I can provide a small device of varying accuracy and intensity, ranging from 100 gold to 300. The more intensive and particular items that I might be able to acquire given some time, up to 700 gold.
What specifically does this entail?
He looks at the both of you and then narrows his eyes, and then he goes to the front door and shuts and locks it and extinguishes the dancing lights. And then in the dark, with only the one lantern providing light, you see that he draws a finger to pull you back towards to the back of the shop.
I do.
Okay. Oryx, do you follow? Okay. In the back of the shop, there is no light except for what comes in from the front. And you hear some shuffling. You can see him moving. And there is a large table he moves out of the way, and then a floorboard he pulls up, and then a box he withdraws and says, some of these smaller items that I can sell to you now. And he holds out a palm pistol and a pistol. That's palm pistol is a D8 with a range of 40 to 160, and is considered light. Pistol is a 1d10, range 60 to 240.
And something you couldn't get me at this exact moment?
Something I could get you with time. And he goes to another part of the room with a locked, what's the word, a safe in the wall, and withdraws a very hefty weapon that is easily at least 2 feet long, and I mean it's technically it's the bad news. It's two-handed. It's massive. 2d12 with a long range of 800 feet.
Christ.
Yeah.
Portable cannon.
I want it.
I really like bad news. It's very big though. Yeah.
Is it a heavy weapon?
It's two-handed. Not technically heavy.
Fuck yeah, baby. That means I can use it. Alright.
Mhm.
I want that. She points at it.
He returns it to the safe, and he says, I can acquire one for you. I would need some time to acquire the parts, put it all together.
How long are we talking?
4 days?
4 days. You know, could I pay to make that happen faster? I'm in kind of in need of a rush job.
2 days for 1,000 gold.
Two days. If you get it to me by the morning of the second day, I'll give you 1,200.
Just the number I had in mind. And he holds out a hand to shake.
I shake it.
Alright, now get out of here.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.
A lot of money, Faye.
Oh, right. You guys are poor.
That's okay.
I forgot what it was like to be poor.
I mean, she's not wrong, dude.
It's not
Can-
a lot of money to me.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
I mean,
true.
we're not poor.
Viserys, I have 2 gold.
You guys are so
Correction, you're poor.
poor.
I'm
Okay.
also pretty poor.
Some of the party are not poor, and it's just Viserys, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Actually, I think so.
And like
I
everybody
mean,
else is
I
fucking
burned through
dirt poor.
most of my gold already.
I'm
but-
sitting on 300 gold, so
Oh hell yeah!
no.
I am sitting on a vast fortune of 16 electrum.
I'm pretty sure Willowin. I'm sad because like the session before
No,
Willowin retired,
100
she
gold.
got like 300 gold. Like I was giving it out like candy. Like I gave Panrin like 50 in my goodbye letter. I'm fucking upset. I was close to level 7 and I was stacked. And then I chose to retire.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Oh no, it's not a lot of money. And by the way, it's probably just a fraction of the money you're about to receive sometime here in the next couple of days.
Assuming we win.
No,
Oh no, you mean that? Yeah,
the sale of the book. Yes.
yeah, I realize that.
He's offering 30,000 at base, but that's you know, a negotiation number. I'm hoping to get it up to somewhere like 50, 60,000.
Oryx just does a double take at that number. That's. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys go back to the Flounder? What are you doing?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I still need to find Panrin, but he's staying. Well, as far as I'm aware, he's staying at the Flounder, so.
Yeah.
I will see if I can deliver this box. Did you know Panrin's real name is Patsy?
I did not.
It's very strange.
Sorry, where? did
Or
you
it's
learn
for
this?
somebody entirely different, I guess.
What is?
This box. It's that.
Oh no.
Have you looked inside?
No, it's not for me. Why would I do that?
Out of curiosity.
It's a box. Like,
Well, there's something inside of it, presumably.
I mean, I realize that, but it's how big is this box that was delivered?
It's about palm size for you guys. It's small.
Small. Give it here.
Are you Patsy?
Yes.
I don't think you're Patsy. We'll just find Panrin. Panrin can open it. We'll find out what it is when Panrin opens it.
No, you won't.
He's not wrong.
That's the
Sorry.
most inaccurate statement I've ever heard in my entire life.
Sorry, so how did you say you learned his name was Patsy?
the note. I didn't know who the box was to, so I read the note, and it just says something about it. It says something. Thank you, something Patsy. I think it was.
Do you have the note?
It's in the box.
Wait, did you open the box to put it in? The note was like under the box.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking there's like a ribbon around the box or something.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Sure. Something like that. Yeah.
What's in the box?
God.
Do you open the box or no?
Can I read the note?
Here you go.
It just it says "Good work, Patsy" is what it says.
All right. Would I be able to open the box without
no
making it clear
flashbacks.
that I had opened the box? Is there like a seal I'll have to break?
It is unmarked as far as you can see.
Is there a clear way to open it?
A lid.
I mean, you're being very vague.
I love you
I
so
know.
much,
I just said
man.
it's a box.
I open the lid and look inside.
Okay. There is inside something small and thin, kind of pale and a little dry. And as you kind of focus in on it, it looks like a finger that is smaller than your own little finger.
Oh no. Oh god. Fanra knows exactly what it is, and I'm horrified.
I close the box.
Satisfied?
No. No, I'm not.
You know what's in the box now.
You know, I don't think I've ever agreed with this sentiment before, but some things are best left unknown. I give the box back to Oryx. I would recommend not looking in there. Also, I'm pretty sure Passy's like a crime thing. I don't think that's the actual name. It's like something you call someone. Like a well, kind of more like a slur than a nickname.
Okay. And with Viserys finding Mira, the sprawling expanse of the Fount of Knowledge, the Font of Knowledge, is open to everybody. It is in the castle ward, amongst many other very plentiful resources. This structure itself is incredibly beautiful, and at least 3 stories tall, and it has the sense of more of a manor than anything else. And you are greeted by many clerics and essentially monks and caretakers for the library as you enter, and immediately you are asked if there is something specific you are looking for, because to wander the archives on your own will certainly become lost and could spend days there, and they would need to know if they need to provide for you if you were to do so.
Alright. Viserys will just say, not something, but someone per se, a paladin by the name of Moira. She said she was coming here.
They nod, they know her, and they take you to her. What state would Moira be in by this point in the day, do you think?
Surrounded by a stack of books with like bleary eyes from not having seen natural sunlight in a number of hours. Just pouring through them.
Okay.
Speed reading.
Okay.
Hey Moira, are you alright?
She does not stop reading. Yes.
I was hoping to ask you some questions about some things we're going to be fighting in the arena.
Yeah, what about?
Well, I discovered that the final fight, assuming we make it that far, is to be against a large, dangerous creature. With the he sort of lists off all the different things the guy vaguely said.
Mhm.
Smells of death, electric sense and stuff, and it's all kind of vague, and it immediately popped out to me. I was hoping I might be able to look it up.
She stops reading for a second, and then you see her close her eyes, and just kind of relish in the closed eyes for a second before whispering a prayer. I want to give myself guidance and see if I can know what the fuck he's talking about.
Okay.
What?
Oh,
Can I
whoops.
check what I need?
Sorry, I don't know why. I just assumed you would know. Arcana.
And
All right.
let's look for the
Guidance.
one extra.
You've heard of some undead that handle lightning particularly well, and the thing that comes to mind is a lich.
First information, I would guess either some kind of flesh golem or lich.
You would also know that seems like an outrageous thing to have to try to catch and then put into a fighting pit.
Yeah, so I wouldn't bet on a lich.
Well, I mean, if it comes to betting, I would probably bet on the lich, in all honesty. But I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Is
It
there
might just
anything
be-
else? I mean, where would I look?
Here is a good place to start.
I meant inside of here, but yes.
Ask the monks. I don't have all day to walk you around, and that's what I would need. It's labyrinthine in here.
That I can see. And I will go ask the monk.
Oh, hey, wait, actually, before you leave.
Yes?
Myra unclasps her bracers and then tosses them to Rosaries. I'm going to give you those. We haven't had a moment together for a while. Haven't got a lot of use out of them.
He catches them, and looks them over, because they're very beautiful. What they do.
They have a couple benefits. She explains what is in the handout, and if Tristan wants to know, he can look at the handout.
Yeah,
I believe the
Titania's
specifics
bracers,
are
right?
Is it the Titania's braces?
Titania's bracers, yeah.
There you go.
Haven't used them once.
Yeah, I've been wondering who had them for a while because reread that one. Those are fucking good, and nobody's used them.
Those are really good, and
I'll
Myra
keep them out
can't
of
use
my
them very
mix.
effectively.
So how does the spell portion of that work?
It would appear that this one doesn't have ADC, which I did not I thought about earlier when I checked it out, but I will just add one right now.
Also, because it says you may use an action to cast mass suggestion or just suggestion based on level, which I don't understand.
That's
Probably
based
the
on
normal spell
your.
slots that you have access
Yeah.
to.
Yep.
So does it just add the spell to my spell list? I still have to cast it with a spell slot?
No, if you are at a level where you have the ability to cast mass suggestion, then you can use the bracers to cast it without a slot.
That's like a
Is that a 5th level spell?
6th level spell. So that's like level 11 till that becomes cool.
Yep.
I mean, there is still free suggestion, and also the hit dice thing is good.
The hit dice
Does it
thing
have
is really good.
Does it have charges? I closed the fucking window because I'm done.
It's just once a day.
Yeah.
Since it didn't have charisma modifier minimum of 1, Moira could not actually use that secondary ability.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So she's just been carrying them around, waiting for a reason to give them to Viserys, and now she's just too tired to care anymore.
Well, thank you, Moira. I appreciate it.
Yeah, don't mention it. No.
Alright, I'll leave you to your work. Get some fresh air. You'll haunted.
Can't. End of the world's at stake.
Okay. Well, let us know if you need help with that. I take it that you don't really want help with it, though.
I imagine you're not a very good speed reader.
I mean, kind of am. I wouldn't say I'm like world class, but
You seem
I've pillaged my way through a
invested
library
in
before.
your research with the arena.
I figured winning the arena and lots of money would be worth it. That
I'm
the end of the world
researching-
is also kind of important.
I'm researching Lord Decanter, and he's a recluse, so it's been difficult. I want to know how old he is, and if there are any older accounts of him, or if he's a new power. Because if he's old, he might have suffered defeats in the past, and we can know what buttons to press.
That is a very wise suggestion. But hopefully this won't take too long to discover, but I'll be back anyway.
Alright?
Stay staying over there. And he's gonna go find a monk.
Okay. There is a monk there. There are folks there who are willing to collect as many tomes as you'd like. And you give the description of the things you're looking for, and they compile many books of things that can handle that have electrical affinity, as well as claws and teeth and the undead. And what you are beginning to realize is that there's very little specific intersection between these things that would give you a really good indicator about what this creature could be. Why don't you roll me an intelligence check? Just
yeah, I'm gonna get a rest. I'll go ahead and burn 2 more sorcery points on these. Fucking Christ.
okay. Unfortunately, the closest thing that you are able to put together is that it has to, like, that you can't, there's not a way that it can't be a lich, but that doesn't still make sense because it is somehow still bound to, it would still be bound to its phylactery and would still, and motivating it to fight in combat seems implausible. It's very strange.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. I imagine Viserys will spend basically the rest of the day here, basically like beating his head against the wall, trying to figure out what in the actual hell this is supposed to be, and is royally regretting spending 20 gold on that. Is there any like they gave me books on everything, or they only give me books on undead, or did they give me stuff about fiends too?
I don't think that you know about the fiends thing.
Well, yeah, I'm asking if they gave me any books about fiends. That might give me more options to look at.
I would say, based on the description that you gave, a couple things may be fiendish, but nothing that is still connecting the dots, really.
Okay, well, I imagine Viserys spends the rest of the day until nighttime there.
Okay.
And then I have a thing at Oh. Yeah, I'll wait till later.
Okay. Moira, you still there?
I think she went up BRB.
Oh yeah, she did. Okay, that's fine. Okay. It sounds like everyone except Rosaries is headed back towards the inn after their errands. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then, late into the evening, you are all finally back together. Good job, everybody.
Time a new party member shows up, Razik goes through the whole spiel again at lightning
Right.
speed.
Oh, okay.
Huh. Also, flipping through the Zanny book, did I get any like weird feelings?
Like while reading it?
Yes, while reading it.
No.
No? Okay. Whew.
No, it's just a book.
Sarah,
Uh-huh.
there's a whole warlock subclass called Pact of the Tome, where you find an evil book. Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's just a book, dude. It was 25 gold. Do you think she'd sell that to you for 25 gold?
I don't fucking know. Yes? Maybe? It's Skullport.
Yeah, they hand
Sorry,
out packs
Lillian-
like crack.
Yeah, Lily and Ted almost got fucking guns for 300 gold. That's only like 3 times a hand crossbow. That's basically nothing for a gun.
Yeah, it's the cheap gun.
It's still a gun.
I mean, I know it's still a gun, but I like the firearms. I think they're fun.
They are. Anyways, yeah, so I'll just spend my night reading that with Panrin, I guess. Probably up in Panrin's room with him, if he doesn't mind.
Panrin is in my room.
I am aware.
That does bring up an interesting point, though. Oryx, when you see Panrin, when you all meet up again, is there any business that you have to settle? The 5 of you? Faye, technically not there, but...
Hey, I'm back just in time.
Oh, sweet.
Hey, Patsy, I have a delivery for you. It was delivered to my room.
As soon
Zero Snickers.
as soon as he says that name, like his eyes immediately widen, and he like just kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? His face just like immediately goes in that direction, and he said, "What'd you say?
Someone delivered a box."
Where is it?"
And we'll hold out the box. It wasn't labeled, so I had to read the note, and it said, "Good job, Patsy." So something like that. I assume that's you, because it's not me.
His eyes just like keep widening the more he says, and he runs up and he takes the box and just kind of holds it like close to his chest, and goes, "Oh, yep, thanks, appreciate it. Gotta go to the room. See you soon. Don't come up."
Faye says it's pretty bad. Okay.
Zero will follow him up, but not in a rush.
Okay. Panrin, you just also, as you were leaving, Oryx mentioned Faye kind of said that it looks pretty bad, or it is pretty bad.
Yeah. I'm gonna run up to the room and close the door behind me. I don't know if Zero's actively there.
She'll be there in like probably like 10 seconds behind you, 15 seconds. She's not in a rush, but it's also like not a distance to cover. And she's also way taller.
If that would leave Oryx alone down in the common room, she will go upstairs.
I think Razik is still there, but I mean, don't let that stop you if you don't want to.
As soon as he gets to the room, he'll close the door, and that's when he'll open the box, see what's inside, and just breathe a huge sigh of relief. And then put it away in one of the. I assume there's like a desk here or something.
A side table.
Yeah, I'll put it in my backpack. Why would I put it in a side table?
Yeah, that was a weird thing. Panrin, this is a halfling finger, but it is smaller than your own. It's like child-sized.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then I do not breathe a sigh of relief.
Okay.
But I still do put it inside my bag.
Okay.
At this point, Zero probably opens the door and closes it behind her.
I will just immediately stand up from my backpack with my typical Pandarin smile.
She looks at Panrin and sits down on the bed and just thunks the big tome on the side table and starts reading through it. I was like, "What? You look like you've seen a ghost."
No, everything's great.
You're
What's in the book?
We're getting there. It takes time to read.
Slow reader, that's fine. Everyone takes time to get better.
I mean, you could read it if you're so fast.
Well, now you bought it, so it's yours first, and then I'll get my chance with it.
She smiles at him and is like, "That's what I thought." So I will spend my night reading that, and if I don't know, I guess at some point I'll ask if, since I realize I'm also in Oryx's face, if she comes up, if it matters if I spout some info, if I find something interesting in front of her.
Yeah, Oryx, what are you doing?
Oryx debates for a little while on whether or not she should go up. He said, "Don't come up," but then Zero went up.
It's also your room. You're the one with the key.
My room.
Oh, and Oryx, there was the pretty glass window with the picture of this woman on it, and then the woman came out from behind the window, and I could not stop looking at her.
That's very
Wait,
convincing.
she came out of the window?
Agnes in a bowl of water, and I met her daughter.
I didn't know Agnes had a daughter.
Not paying any attention, and he's just rambling.
I love this.
If that helps you make your decision at all.
Okay, good night, Razik. Gotta go.
So Panrin,
And she had lots of birds, and there was a rat. Or there was a rat. You at the bar, there was a rat. She had a rat.
so Panrin, do you mind if your little lizard friend comes up, I divulge some info? She doesn't seem too, harmful. Heart of gold and all that.
Sure. I don't see why not.
Cool. It is you guys' room anyways. I'm just here because I don't want to scare the others.
Technically hers, but yeah, I get that.
Right. Also, at some point, are there windows in this? Are there windows in this place? In this room, particularly. Sorry.
Yes.
At some point, the Raven, after an hour, the Raven will knock on the window, and Zero will let her in.
Okay.
Tapping on my window.
Clack, clack, clack. Oh, it's back already. She opens the window. It just hopped on her shoulder.
So does the bird just come back even when you kill it? That seems... And Oryx closes the door.
Huh?
Cruel?
Cruel. I mean, it doesn't... Were you there when we dissected it?
And you shot it with a crossbow bolt? Yes.
Oh, yeah, it just poofed up into smoke. I don't think it's cruel. It also doesn't seem particularly happy or not, or, you know. It doesn't seem to have a mind of its... You know, this darn thing is very interesting. She kind of like heads it. To be fair, I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a mind of its own, but it is not mine. If that makes sense.
It does not.
Right.
It's in the box, Banner. I'm curious.
A gift.
Oh, secret admirer?
Who knew to send you a gift here in my room?
Well, as you know, I'm part of a spy organization who has to keep tabs on its people, so my location is always known.
Zero looks up at from reading the book. She looks up at Oryx with a concerned look, and then to Panrin with a concerned look, and is like, they do?
That's disconcerting.
Yeah. Huh. All
I mean,
right.
it's not unlike you guys. You guys are constantly asking me where I'm going.
That's because we don't know instead of knowing all the time.
And so the organization I'm with doesn't care to ask. They just know.
So, like, are they watching me?
Yeah, it's, she kind of like leans over to Panrin and is like, the Z's or the X?
I'm sorry, does this room have windows?
Yes.
Are there
Yes.
curtains to the windows?
Sure.
Are they closed?
No.
Alright. Yeah, they're probably watching right now.
The Z's or the X's, Panrin?
Z's.
Roll a charisma check for me.
Yeah, 1 sec.
Wee. Okay. The two of you can roll insight if you'd like.
I am assuming that Panrin is not lying out of the goodness of my heart.
Hey, you're welcome to.
My cold... Oh, sorry, not intelligence. Insight. There it is.
Oh, cool. Zero, he's speaking a little faster than usual, and I don't know what the deal is, but every time he tries to like throw you guys off his own scent, he definitely starts speaking real fast for no reason. Tries to change the subject very quickly.
Well, that's good. That's great. Zira actually, really, not pretending, heaves a sigh of relief. Okay, so, yeah, if that's gonna be the only...
What does the book say?
Yeah, I'm gonna... Do I need a check for that?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna look over her shoulder, pretending to read.
Alright.
And what does Oryx do at this time?
Just out of curiosity, what is Panrin standing on to look over her shoulder?
Oh, I thought she was sitting on the bed. I was just gonna stand on the bed.
Okay, got it.
Still a pretty fucking good image.
Oh, and I will also close the curtains. when I bring that up, I'm like, oh, when they're like, are they watching us now? And then I'll just go over and close the curtains.
Okay. What's Oryx up to at this time?
After about 10 minutes of listening to whatever this book is, Arx will just get up and leave because this is both boring and loud. Like, not loud, but like repetitive droning reading.
Okay. What you can learn from this book, well, it's autobiographical. It's autobiographical.
Oh wait, did I just pick up Xanathar's Guide to Everything? You know, Wizards of the Coast is selling it for more expensive than you sold it to me. I'm glad.
Yeah, it's autobiographical. It details his creation in the Grey Peaks, his connection to other beholders.
I'm sorry, if this is in the first 10 minutes, Oryx is not getting up.
Yeah, that's actually
No,
pretty
this is-
interesting.
Yeah, this is early on. Created in the Grey Peaks with another cluster of beholders that have since and the narrative jumps around a little chronologically, saying like it's not super well written at this beginning point, where it's basically saying like, this is where I came from, this is where I'm going, by the way, these people never come back up again, or by the way, I found out these people have died since then, that kind of thing. This beginning of the chronicle is about 200 years old, almost 300, where he mentions moving to Skullport, calling himself the Eye, and collecting agents and establishing the agents of the Eye, which are just really smart and dedicated individuals who like to learn secrets and share things.
And Cameron is one of them. Huh. Thank you.
And
Smart airboats.
and within Skullport, finding other beholders, a few as it happens. One of them who called himself Xanathar, which the Eye struck a campaign against and overthrew by absolutely slaughtering him and all of his agents, and this writing kind of begins to take on a very prideful tone, very enthused about this effort, and then from that point on, referring to in the literature in third person but still autobiographical, his place in Skullport as the most intelligent creature, the most recognized creature below the greatest city on the surface, and there's even like chapters upon chapters of the details of his personal quarters and his favorite individuals he's ever worked with, but nothing that indicates exactly the exact location of his dwelling, and nothing that really indicates how he even got there in the first place. There is this textual jump from existing as the Eye and then existing as Xanathar. It makes for really an unpleasant amateur read, and is somewhat disappointing.
Any info on like agents or other folks that like were working under him that he didn't particularly like or care for, and any like consequences or like, oh haha, I was so smart, I I made this deal that X person couldn't get out of.
Right. Yeah, there is detailed a small story of a mind flayer who attempted to hunt down the Xanathar and at this point the writing gets a little maybe confused or confusing rather, where there is an insistence that Xanathar knows this mind flayer had the intention of using his own using the beholder's corpse as a puppet through which it would control the thieves guild and use his own magic. Right. Yeah. But there is just but then the conclusion of that story is just the sentence, "Fed him to fish." That's all.
That's all? Shit, dude.
About 2 minutes into her reading, she's just gonna hear in her mind, so boring. And then Pandren's gonna like fall back on the bed and just lay down.
She looks at the raven and was like, "Was that? No, wait, hold on. The fuck?
It
How'd
sounds
you
like
do
Pandren.
that?
What?
You did the whole telepathy thing."
No, I didn't.
Must be imagining things, I guess.
Wait a minute. What did you hear?
You saying, it's so boring?
Wait, you heard that?
Yes, I heard that.
Well, do you have telepathy?
GM, do I have telepathy right now? Sorry, I don't know what's going on, so I have to ask.
No, actually, you know what? That's fair. No, you do not have telepathy right now.
She shakes her head. No.
And then his mouth isn't moving, but you hear, "Wait a minute, can you hear me right now?"
She nods.
His eyes are just gonna like widen, and he's gonna stare at Scream Stealer and be like,
So she's not. She's going to think something like, I don't know. Your feathers are crooked on your hat or something, but she's not gonna like think it at you. She's gonna just have it in her head. Is that something that makes sense?
You do have telepathy, see?
Is that something he can sense?
Wait, hold on.
I don't know.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. If you're not thinking it at him, then no.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, it's just in my head. Great. Oh, beautiful. She sighs, like, in relief, and then kind of goes back to the book for a second before looking at Pandren and thinking at him, "Hey."
Nah.
Oh man, that's so good.
I'm gonna turn to Oryx and be like, "Wait, can you hear me?"
Oryx, there is the silent voice within your head from Pandren asking if you can hear him.
I can. Yes.
That's new.
Harville spoke this way.
She did. And then he's gonna feel his mouth.
Like, why?
Like in his tongue, probably? For a
Sorry, yeah,
tongue?
my tongue. My bad. That's what I
Okay.
meant.
Okay. I mean, you still have a tongue.
And now you know it's in your mouth, so it's going to be uncomfortable for the next 5 minutes. Congratulations. Would I recognize the name Harville or no?
Let's have you roll a history check.
Yeah. I'm not like fishing or anything. I'm just seeing if I
Yeah.
would potentially no.
Yeah. I think
Outside my...
your guys' connections are limited to like the person above you, the people below you. Doesn't
Exactly.
appear that. Yeah.
people we've worked with.
Yeah.
Just haven't figured it and figured I'd ask.
Yeah.
Great.
No problem.
Cool. So if there's no like info on like the pacts Xanathar made with like mortals and not like big folks like mind flayers or anything like that, or
Hey, I saw some of those.
or
Yeah, I saw some of those. Mind flayers, right? Squid face things.
yeah, down
Yeah,
in the
We killed one on the way here.
Oh.
yeah, that's probably where you saw it. She kind of elbows him.
Yep. I remember now. He was dead on the ground because I was collecting something elsewhere.
Jesus.
It was
Jesus.
sort of a memorable fight, Panrin.
Oh, right, that's right. He wasn't there for that. Also, what the fuck is up with the skeleton? Can I kill it?
I didn't put that there.
Oh, that's Lilith. Never mind.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me.
Don't mind me.
Just raising the dead and shit. Anyways, yeah, if there's not any, like, packed information or how he's, like, dealt with mortals or, like, beguiled them into, servitude, I guess. I don't know if, I guess maybe if there is, like, info on, like, his magic, to make those pacts, and, like, anything that would be interesting to me. But
Yes.
other than that, I don't
Make
think
me
the rest...
an investigation check.
Yeah, I don't think the rest of this is useful for me right now. Granted, we are in the Grey Peaks, and if... Oh, shit.
Not in the great current.
Yeah.
Um,
Once we get into the decanter shit. Pretty much.
with a 20 investigation and kind of having an idea of what you'd like to be finding, there is, I would say, this chapter is about people he has invested time with and made promises with and to and such, and there is a section that stands out to you because it is weird and because it very clearly it very clearly is related to what you are trying to find. There's a gentleman who is noted to have who was noted to have kidnapped children, particularly smaller folk children, and raised them with the intent to deliver them to Xanathar. But Xanathar mentions he did not receive his delivery as promised. And that is something he is very upset about, at least at the time of this.
Huh? What a sicko.
What?
Oh, just like kidnapping thing. Oh,
What?
wait.
Wait a minute. Kidnapping thing?
Yeah. Dude.
What about it?
Oh, yeah, so this guy made a promise to Xanathar that he'd, like, kidnap and raise a bunch of, like, small folk yourself. And does it say halflings or just, like, any sort of small folk, like gnomes and dwarves and shit?
The text just says small
Just
folk.
small folk. Yeah. So kidnapping small folk and promising them to Xanathar, but apparently he never got his order. Does it say what happened to him?
It would not appear that Xanathar knows.
Does it say his name?
Yes.
What's his name?
His name is, well, let me type it in for you. Harold Crowlin.
Huh, Harold Crowlin. You know, I think that whole thing taking over your body might be a kind of like a safety net, you know? Like, if you don't do your job, he'll, like, kill you, right?
I also think so.
So, maybe if you give him what he wants, he won't do that. If you don't have any like outstanding missions currently and want to slow the process of that, maybe going after this guy is a good thing. He seems to have real beef with Xanathar and also doesn't seem to be a mind flayer or other immortal being that would be hard to wrangle, you know. Easy manhunt stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely. Let's add him to the list.
Meow.
Oh, that's so cute. Who's cat?
Sorry, that's me.
Give kitty.
So
Give
cute.
Give kitty.
Tiny, tiny kitty.
Give.
I mean, you have too smart brain. That's overanalyzing, boss.
The first thing I saw was that I could rearrange Harold into Lord Ha.
Anyways,
Dumb ways.
so I think the answer to your whole predicament there is just do his work and he won't come after you. You want to keep a hold of this book? It might come in handy if you ever need
Yes.
info on this Harold dude. I'll just leave it in your room and see you later. It was nice. I appreciate your time, by the way. I know it's not easy. She leaves.
Perfect. Thank you for your help.
Of course, anytime. So I'll be back in Rosaris' room. Hit the sleep button.
Okay.
Or rather, the sit in bed and have my crow perched on me. Raven.
So what's gonna happen next is, I know we were thinking about doing, I thought we were gonna get the fight today, but I went with, I think a better thing, which was you all splitting up and doing things separately. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to give Moira, and by extension all of you guys, the information on Decanter that Moira would be picking up over the next few days. And then next session we will, unless there's anything else that needs to be happening like tonight, which we can work on next week, we will time skip in theory, or summarize time skip and then go right to the Coliseum. Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
I think tomorrow
It works for
would be
me. I just had one more thing I wanted to do.
a good
Okay.
place to like sign up and all that shit. So that's a
Yeah.
good summary.
Tristan, do you how long do you think the thing that you want to do would take? Because we could do that right now.
I don't think particularly long. Right, shouldn't be long.
Okay, what is it?
Rosaris Rosaris was going to go back to the library, and he was going to pick up like some fresh pastries and warm beverage, probably tea or something along those lines, and bring it to Moira.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, Rosaris does that. Is there any response that Moira would have to that
She will mutter out of the side of her mouth as if saying someone else's words she's heard 1,000 times. You can have those in here.
Oh, you can.
Wait, you'll spill them on the books?
Viserys says, well, I trust that they're very important to you and you won't do that, but I think you need some creature comforts before you go insane in here. I don't think some tea is going to be the end of the world. Perhaps you could just step away from the books for 5 minutes.
No, I'm afraid not. Do leave them right there, though. She points next to her. Thank you.
I promise you'll drink it.
Hmm?
So do you promise you'll drink it?
Oh, yeah.
Alright. Just, I mean, this is important, but don't kill yourself over it.
I've done worse.
I believe that, but
Yep,
just
we did it
trying to
together.
look out. Fair enough.
I'll be fine.
Be safe, Moira. And he leaves.
Okay. Alright, so this information, I could be nice and give you a handout, but I'm not going to, because I think that that's better. So you guys have to take notes.
Oh.
Uh-huh. The heavy information, and this is again days of research and a lot of puzzling out and and drawing like crazy person like string and conspiracy theory photographs and everything. Like, this is conclusions that you've been able to draw based on days of research. The main thing immediately is that you will learn that Decanter is a very charismatic presence and very capable of making allies, and prefers to do that over mostly anything else. The noted allies that he has include the Zentarim, who pay him for access to the roads that run through his territory in the Fallen Lands and through peaks. I'm going to type this name out because it's going to be hard to say. Coralaxikinitharith, the Hidden Venom. The Hidden Venom, which is a green dragon who is in the Misty Forest, who doesn't often make allies, so he was promised something for his trust and for favors by Decanter. The Misty Forest happens to be a stretch of land that you all passed by on your way to Waterdeep. There is a creature called the Beast Lord, which this took a little bit of puzzling up, but this is not Malar, the god of lycanthropy. The Beast Lord is an Illithid who came from the Fallen Lands, who practiced crossbreeding and created his own goblin, which is more vicious and more bloodthirsty, specifically driven differently than a regular goblin would be, and he had complete control over. But the Beast Lord has not been heard of for over 100 years. There is a circle called the Craven Coven, which were hags that served Zugtamoy. There was Granny Lovelace, who Weathercop Woods, a woman named Marguerite Marguerite Sideways, which is spelled. Hold on, I don't know why I'm proud of this one. That's how you spell sideways.
Kill one of those guys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Granny Lovelace.
We killed
right?
Lovelace, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And another one named Auntie Agatha from the High Forest. Each of them have covens of their own, but the three of them circle together. A half-demon lord, who is the son of Bane, named Liachatu Zivium. Hold on. Who was crushed under his father's foot while Bane tried to return to godhood, and he's pretty upset about that.
The Bane Blood Crisis. I remember that. That was the second Baldur's Gate game, I feel like.
There is also.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There is noted a succubus that you can't get a lot of other information on where her location is or what she's doing. You just know her name, Pancheska. And then another dragon, this one a red dragon. Okay, here we go. Astrazathlethadalon. Oy boy.
Holy shit, I spelled that right.
Traxouth Alderon.
Yep. Who was in the Grey Peaks as well. There's nothing really noted of that dragon per se, except just being a menace up until the timeline matches up where it would have found allyship with the Xanathar. Mostly just terrorize the Grey Peaks as red dragons are wont.
Is that the one who's dead?
Presumably.
Oh, would orcs know that?
Mm-hmm. And then a werewolf
Also,
pack.
I'm very sorry for making you pronounce that name.
It's fine. You saw my green dragon name I had, so, like, it's fine. And then a werewolf pack that is in the Trollbark Forest, headed by a Rolst Hangwood. They called themselves the Clawed Hood. I'll give you guys all of those names. I'll type all of those in chat. Mm-hmm.
What was the lycanthrope boy?
His name is Rolst Hangwood. I'll get all of those names for you.
All right. That seems like a good list of bounties.
This is my pronunciation guide.
Thanks.
Akithnar. Akithnarth is a foul fucking 3 syllables. Akithnarth.
Akinarth.
That's not. Oh, no.
Eh.
Akithnarth. I see.
Corlax.
Francesca?
Diaknar.
Little succubus.
Corlax
Man.
Diaknar.
That just seems like a good list of bounties. We just have to find where they're terrorizing and then get paid.
Jesus Christ. This guy has too many friends. Maybe he's
Except
not
for the
that bad.
Centauran. What do you mean maybe he's not that bad?
I mean, maybe he's not that bad. He has so many friends.
I mean, all of his friends are terrible, horrible people.
Yeah, but I mean, they were all complete. I mean, multiple dragons were just like literally terrorizing like entire swaths of mountainside until he made some kind of deal with them to force them to not.
Yeah, to force them to not, to make his shit terrorize the mountainsides instead.
But he hasn't really been doing that. He controlled a city.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, okay,
He was
so
also
think about this.
manufacturing an
know of.
army.
Yeah, think about this tactically. He's creating an army, and he occupied one city that we know of, and that was probably because of the location of the city. We haven't entirely divined why.
Hey, as a
I think
reminder,
the reason that we were given was their mine that was going on there dug into the mountain too close to him, and then he decided to shut them down.
Possibly.
Alright. Yeah.
So we're talking about someone who has a lot of power and makes a lot of friends easily, and basically is just creating like a monstrous kingdom of some kind.
Hey, as a reminder, a green dragon is
He's
going to come
not
and kill
welcome
me.
in human society, but instead of trying to hide, he's just making more monster friends.
So I would say that's the biggest concern right now.
Yeah,
This is extremely dangerous.
Just go ahead and light Aaron on fire and see if that's more pertinent to him.
Sorry, I want to be on record. I don't think this isn't dangerous. I just don't think you. I think you might not be that bad of a person.
I don't care
Other
about
than the
his
casual
morals.
disintegration and murder, you know.
Well,
that bad.
I mean, sorry, 4 of a holder. I don't think he's that bad of a person.
Yeah.
That's a pretty fucking
It's a low bar.
extenuating circumstance right there.
It's a low
That's an
bar.
extremely low bar.
Yeah,
Like,
Do
Xanatar's
Do I-
also not that bad.
do I need to repeat any of those? This will be the time to do it. Is there any of those locations or details I need to repeat now for any of those names?
everyone look up.
Not Granny Lovelace, but Agatha. Sorry, Auntie
Oh.
Agatha was in the High Forest.
Yes.
Oh, so we killed both. Wait, did we kill her? Did we let her go?
No,
We killed her.
no, we killed the shit out of her.
Yeah, I was like, I thought we did.
That wasn't her name.
That was
Yeah,
not
I
her
know.
name.
Oh,
Wrong hag. She wasn't part of a coven. I feel like we did an investigation check on that and like the area around, and we found nothing.
Her.
And Sideways is from.
We found evidence that her coven had died, and she was trying to resurrect them.
Here's a question:
Uh,
which one
From the
those
sound
can
of it,
actually
each
take?
one.
well, I know what we could take is we could go like free Oryx's tribe. We could do that.
Sorry. Sideways. Marguerite Sideways is from where?
Skullport. Skullport.
Oh wait, she's just here.
Yeah.
That might have been the woman that you just bought something from.
Oh, good.
She was
I
very
get to-
hag-like.
I get to take her fucking stock. Wait, did I? Was there a sign? You said it was advertised. Was it Lady Sideways' fucking shop?
No.
Okay, yeah.
In fact, she had a name, and it was Olive.
Oh, yes, it was-
Something.
Right.
I don't think I gave that to you, but yeah, that. Not her.
I feel like you did. And anyways, yes.
Not
okay,
that everyone who wears a mask everywhere uses their real name all the time.
High Forest, Skullport, Son of Bane, Succubus. We don't know the location of Astrazax Thaladon, Miss Oryx's Red Dragon boy. He is presumed dead, but his location would be in the Great Peaks, correct?
Astrax Althaladon.
Absolutely. You guys would know, like, once this information would be shared amongst the group, Arx could confirm that dragon is dead.
Yes, and would quite readily confirm that dragon is dead. Also, need to go back there.
We do.
Alright, Trollbark Forest is the Claude Hood, Zentarum, pay him for access on the thing. The Illithid, did we get a location on that, or did we just get, locate, or rather, like a little blurb?
He
on
hasn't
it?
been heard from.
He was
for
in the
hundreds of
Fallen-
years.
Right, hasn't been
Yeah.
heard from for hundreds of years, correct.
He was also in the Fallen Lands, and he eugenicsed
The
up.
Fallen Lands, yeah.
He eugenicsed himself up a goblin that was even more vicious than regular goblin.
Honestly, I'm pretty impressed.
I would love to take notes from a fantasy geneticist.
Great.
Well, he's dead, so.
Yeah, I figured.
Well, we can take make a little visit to Sideways, get a bounty off of that, maybe go to
Also, wait a minute.
kill that green dragon in the Misty Forest. But failing that, we could also lure out the Succubus or go to the Fallen Lands and see if there are any remnants of the Beast Lord.
Fallen Lands.
I want to hear Panderin's immediate reaction to is, we should go hunt down that dragon. I mean, maybe we could convince him he's really seasoned life by the horns, whatever the fuck. But I can't wait for just the look of abject horror on his face. It's gonna be great.
I honestly forgot what one of my fucking fortunes. Oh right, I remember what it was now. I remember what it was.
So, if we're gonna hunt down anyone first, we should probably not think of location and rather consider which of these foes we are most likely to be able to actually best in combat if negotiation and interrogation go sideways.
If you all have already killed a hag, I think the hags...
We're probably
We're
fine
already
hunting
a
down hags.
third of the way there. So if we can collapse that little thing and maybe get some info on what Miss Sideways is exporting from Skullport, because as you guys said, Lovelace was the one making the blades.
Yep, she was making
So
blades.
She was
these
making what?
hags...
Oh,
plates.
fuck.
Wait,
I'm now realizing.
I thought Lovelace was the one we killed in the mountain.
In
No.
the maze.
In the maze.
Okay, that was her.
That was Lovelace.
Okay.
She was making blights. Secondly infected blights, specifically.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
Fuck! We didn't burn down that tree.
No,
Yeah.
no, we didn't.
God damn
We
it.
definitely, unless you burned it down
I
afterwards.
hate Willowin. God damn it.
Wait, you guys didn't burn down the tree?
No, you insisted that we didn't. We took
You
you at your word.
insisted that we didn't.
Oh, right. Sorry, I'm still talking in character. I'm dumb. Yeah, no, I did burn down the tree, and I am so mad that I didn't.
I fucking hate your character.
I hate Willow too.
Wait.
Dude,
I-
why the
I-
fuck do you think I'm playing a different character?
I hate Willowin. Willow is like, oh, it's a tree that's infected with demonic blight, and I have no way to cure it. Don't destroy it, though.
Actually, if you recall, she prayed about it, and her god said, "Let this thing live, because
Oh,
it
that's
could
right.
be a source of good."
That's true.
Fucking Shanti.
Fuck
God.
Shanti.
Stupid gods.
Stupid
So I'm
ass.
atheist.
Cool.
Fuck you.
Stupid.
You know.
Oh.
Actually, what she specifically said, "Do as you will," but this tree is in its nature not evil. That's what she said.
Yeah, but it's still a useful tool for people who want to use it for evil, and we don't have any way of controlling it.
Well,
I-
fire's a
all
way
I'm
to
s-
control it.
All I'm saying is I specifically did not take a stance.
No one ever blamed you. We were blaming
Yeah,
Willowin.
you're blaming Willowin. I am also blaming Willowin.
Fucking hippie.
Okay, is there any other last minute things for tonight that I need to make note of for next week?
Did we find literally any information about this guy's location or like current operations, or just a list of known associates?
The best summation you can find, well, the closest approximation that you can gather is that it would make sense that he has taken over the keep or lands or region that the Beast Lord had occupied, and again, that's in the Fallen Lands, and I'd say there's modest direction as
That's
well.
how he's
Well-
doing it.
Wait.
He's using the Amethyst research to genetically engineer
Yeah.
soldiers. I want that research.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Fallen Lands would probably be like where we would get like the remnants of whatever the Beast Lord was practicing. But now that we know that he's taken over, kind of where he was around, that would probably be the best place for him to hunker down. You know.
Give me the sauce. I want the sauce.
Tell you.
So much reverb going on right now.
Huh?
Oh, I think it's Doug.
It
Yeah.
is Doug.
Look,
Ted, what did you say?
I said I've been telling you he's in the Fallen Lands.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
gonna say,
yeah.
if we're talking about his location, don't we know exactly where
Yeah.
he is?
Well, no, we
I've
don't.
only been
We
there
have a region.
twice. I've been there twice.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Oryx
we
has
have
been in the building.
We have a like a basic.
We haven't- No, he's been there.
No. I mean, like, just like off of memory, like we have a good idea of where exactly he is.
I mean, if we're trying to nuke him, I guess technically we have a vague idea. But if we're gonna walk there,
We don't
I
have
think
his coordinates, but like we know about where he is in the Fallen Lands. Yes.
Yeah, so my current issue as a player with like trying to seek that out is that Oryx is not certain she can find her way back, and there's magical warding on it that will probably make it incredibly difficult to find, and we don't have any divination magic to counteract that.
I thought Rick said she was absolutely certain she could find it.
She was decently certain the first time we asked, and then was absolutely certain the second time. So
do you have any reason to doubt Oryx? I don't.
There's magical warding.
There is once you get there. Like once you go in.
Which is a problem.
But that's after we've already reached the place.
Gotten there, yeah.
That's it's a different separate problem.
Yes.
It's like your dome, but on a higher level.
Yeah, it's a huge dome that surrounds the estate. Like, we won't be able to get in, I don't think, unless we find a countermeasure for that first.
I mean, you can get in.
Yeah, Oryx was just able to walk in. Oryx and all of her kobold friends were able to just go in.
On a delivery, with permission.
Uh-huh.
Or, hear me out here, it's one of those things where it's like stated kinds of creatures, so it's like kobolds can go in.
It could be any number of things. We don't know what it is. We have no way to divine what it is, which is my problem.
I mean, of course we're not gonna so we're not gonna take him out. We have a whole list of folks that we can go for to kind of scrub his supply chain and or draw him out from hiding if he gets too upset that we're killing all of his friends.
Yeah, this is true.
So, like, going after him is going to be smart after we've killed, like, 90% of these folks. I don't know how well we can do against the demonic folks, but we can definitely take the demonic folks, the succubus that we don't know the location of, Lacantu Zvin.
Huh? Oh, that guy died.
He's dead.
Oh, he's dead?
Stepped on.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
He's dead.
He died in the Bane crisis.
Hey. Maybe he's in the notes for a reason.
Maybe.